A stalker tries to approach Senna and Valkyrie during the Sisathon. Why, my mind is way too brain rotted to read that word. What is the Sisathon? What is that about? It's about sisters. They're sisters. Okay. Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh.
That's homeboy.
Well,
Oh.
Oh, I've seen him before.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Well, the thing is,
Chad, hold on.
me and Drew bonded a lot.
damn, that was insane. Holy sh.
I didn't even hear that guy.
Because he was just sitting there the whole time. He didn't even move. He didn't move at all. He was here the whole time.
Oh.
In that corner. You check it out, Gingy. You wear that armor, and you get twice as good at sending Twitch whispers. Yeah, cool.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Twice as good at sending Twitch whispers. Yeah, cool.
Oh my gosh.
Is it like an AI or Dr. Disrespect armor? It's Dr. Streamer item. Oh, okay.
They're both mean. I don't like either of them. What do you mean? What do you mean?
We're not the highest profile branch in the network, but we've got what makes the real difference.
Right now. I will kick you the fuck out.
What?
You can talk all that I have had to listen to you complain about Blonde Blazer, you fucking incel, loser piece of shit.
What is this cup? I respect it, but holy shit.
Yeah.
But if you talk shit about Invisigal one more fucking time, I will kick you out.
I think she's kind of mean.
Get the fuck out. Get out.
I mean, I didn't think. I mean, I just.
Does this guy have like, who is this, Blau? Does he have like the Mizkif cadence? Am I crazy?
But if you talk shit about Invisigal one more fucking time, I will kick you out.
I think she's kind of mean.
Get the fuck out. Get out.
I mean, I didn't think. I mean, I just met her and she's saying that I have a dad bod. When, in my opinion, I think my body's just fine. And by the way, why Blonde Blazer the one that's trying to fucking see my dress? Because honestly, she likes me. And then she's like, oh my god, I'm not gonna kiss you back. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You gave me silence the entire night. And you wanted to kiss me. And then this other girl comes here, this a gal, and it's like, who are you?
Kick the fuck out. Get him out of here. Do you like eating at communal tables when you go out to eat? Boomers, 60% yes. Gen Z, 90% yes. Millennials, whatever you guys want to do. Is this like if you go out to eat alone and you sit down at a communal table? Or is this like if you go out to eat with friends? It's a meme post. I don't get it. What's the meme? Millennials probably. Whatever you guys want to do. Because that's how millennials answer? Because they're non-committal? Or... Millennials have no strong opinions? I think, yeah. Kanye on X as well. Why do you keep linking this? Okay. Oh, Lauren, my queen.
Welcome to the Action Man house. We have this Lauren girl refusing to leave my house. And I guess she has drugs in her car and she's gonna be getting arrested for not leaving me alone. And here we go. Absolute lunatic. Welcome to the Action Man house. We have this Lauren girl refusing to leave my house. And I guess she has drugs in her car and she's gonna be getting arrested for not leaving me alone. And here we go. Absolute lunatic.
Sorry. Wait.
We have lunatic Lauren here showing at my house, refusing to leave. A day in the life in the Action Man residence. Why is this happening? We don't know. What is she laughing about? Just leave the house. Talking about the lease you want to sign. Why are you at my house? She's talking about... We have lunatic Lauren here showing at my house.
Who is this? My queen. Lauren De Laguna. Is that the same Lauren? Yes. Brian Johnson literally sells snake oil. I don't know what any of this... I don't know if any of this is good or bad or what. I don't have any research on this. I have no clue. Extra virgin olive oil. Single source, over 400 milligrams of polyphenols. I don't know what phenols are. I have no idea. His nutrition shit might be bullshit. I just don't know. I don't know about it. Why does it always seem like crazy people like Lauren are rich? Like, doesn't she have stuff to do? They're not rich. They come from rich families. The reason why it always seems that way is because, one, white girls get a lot of leeway on acting crazy because on their own communities will kind of support them. Like, if a black woman is acting insane, white people don't approve of it and black people don't approve of it. You can't really get away with acting like a fucking lunatic when you are a person of color because your own communities don't stand for it and white people don't give you any sympathy for it. So white women are in a special subcategory of people who are simultaneously, you know, granted the world, but also treated like children when it comes to personal responsibility the entire time. And then two, if you are like actually, you know, like you have to work or you're not like super wealthy, you don't have time to act out like a fucking lunatic all the time. You have to do this sparingly or with a boyfriend that you live with. For people like Lauren who have the luxury of acting fucking crazy 24/7 just because their parents support their lifestyle. Same thing with a good friend, Jane Doe. Hey, you can send them up. It's time to fucking eat fresh. Hell the fuck yeah. True. True, 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 true. Spot the difference. I have aura. Tucker doesn't. Ooh. Ooh. Does it work that way? To grant yourself aura? Ooh. We did it, folks. We replicated the typical economic sentiment response set. In your opinion, the economy right now feels bad, 69%. You are doing well, 73.4%. Big. Christ. Kings. I feel like you see a lot of shit like that. Like, wasn't there a poll where it was like, do you think we need more manufacturing or whatever? And it was like 92% of Americans say yes. And it's like, do you want to work a manufacturing job? And like 6% of Americans say yes. I feel like you see there's like polls like that. And like, there's a world where like it maybe makes sense, but it's actually just fucking stupid. It's not. YouTube's AI summary. Destiny wants Tom Bilyeu. You're missing what's really happening. Topic. Tom defends Trump excessively. Really? If that's real, that's a funny meme.
Hi, everybody. Wow. I'm John Lovett. We're live at Cricket Con.
Hasan Abihan's in the building.
Yeah. Woo! All right, he's got people. Everybody here has got people everywhere, you know?
We're in the Reagan building, baby. I've co-opted your ass.
Can't lose control just yet. In his 1992 convention speech, Bill Clinton, who is perfect, said of Republicans who were at the time angry about Murphy Brown being a single mom on television, if other politicians make you feel like you are not part of their family, come on and be part of ours. Republicans were the hall monitors, we were welcoming. 3 decades later, Trump found an audience among pretty apolitical comedians and media personalities and their fans who see Democrats as pious and scolding. The Democratic Party is widely reviled. A broad survey of working class voters described Democrats as, quote, woke, weak, and out of touch. Coming out of Tuesday, which was awesome. Semaphores Dave...
Woke Sharia.
What? Yeah.
Woke Sharia, baby.
We're all living in Mumdanistan now. Semaphores Dave Weigel put it best in summarizing the exit polls. What do you think of the Democrats? They stink. Who did you vote for? As many Democrats as possible. So where do we go from here? Joining me, our streamer and political commentator, Hasan Piker. MS Now's Simone Sanders. The Bulwark's Tim Miller. And the co-host of The Five, Fox News' Jessica Tarlov. Tim, I want to start with you, and I want to just concede that this is like a big topic, and it can be hard to tease out style from substance, strategy, ideology, but I want to start with that 2024 dynamic. You have Trump and his allies on Rogan and a whole bunch of apolitical shows and media. In hindsight, Democrats say, oh, we need Democrats that can go everywhere. They have to go everywhere just like Trump did. But then we look around and we say, well, who are the Democrats that can do that? And as a former Republican, as a pilgrim in an unholy land, who's gone from viewing Democrats being annoying as an asset to a liability, like, where is your head at?
Well, I was happy about the woke Sharia in New York, but you do have to remember that the CIA has taken over in Virginia across the river. So the deep state establishment is also on the rise.
Big tent.
Big tent. You know what, love it. You guys are kind of annoying, and it is something that we're dealing with. And I think that it's important to just accept it and think about it. And the fundamental question that you got to, which was, okay, well, we need a Rogan of our own, or we got to be able to go hang out with these, folks. We got to be appealing more to the comedian set. And then it's like, well, who would go on the podcast? And then it's like, well, are you available? Are you? Like the list is kind of short, right? And so, we can't create people from scratch, but I think that it's important, when I look back at the mistakes the Democrats made that got us to this place, it's like, Biden wins in 20 when everybody's inside, right? So you didn't have to be out there. And then in 22, it's like, well, we didn't have a red wave. So it's like things are going pretty well, right? And so I just think that there was a lot of just inertia and status quo happening. And a lot of the problems that were undergirding that, a lot of things people were frustrated with about COVID or about the not as fun parts of woke Sharia, right? Like, there wasn't a lot of reflection on that, and I think that it's good to reflect on it now, and I think that Tuesday was awesome, but just because we did really well on Tuesday, because Trump is fucking everything up, does not mean that we shouldn't also, like, think about how we can continue to kind of expand out and appeal to more people.
Simone, it seems like Democrats are often in a trap, which is Trump or one of his acolytes does something genuinely offensive, whether it's attacking or undermining a democratic institution or going after a vulnerable group of people, and Democrats want to defend those people, right? But then at times, sometimes they seem like they're writing their own version of the Federalist Papers, or they are doing what is then described as identity politics. And so how do you fight back against Trump when he's attacking people, when he's making an issue of marginalized groups, without then being seen by a broader group of being focused less on, say, the economy? Like, how do you square that circle?
Well, I'm from North Omaha, Nebraska. Shout out to the Midwest people in the room. Yes, there are black people. There are black people in Nebraska all over this country, maybe not North Dakota. And so I say that because earlier this summer, a black man who is a Democrat unseated a 3-term Republican mayor in Omaha, Nebraska. And we can clap for that. His name is John Ewing. And John Ewing, I grew up knowing John Ewing. I know him very well. But in that race, like in many other races across this country that have happened since 2024, one of the issues that the Republican candidate tried to pull to the forefront were bathrooms and trans issues. And you know what John Ewing's answer was? Well, first of all, he had an answer. He put up an ad to answer the attacks, which I think is really important. You cannot let attacks go. You cannot allow your opponent, as a former strategist, you cannot have your opponent defining you and you not answering. So that's part of it. I think specifically coming out of 2024, a lot of candidates did not answer the attacks. And some people were just like, oh, no, that's not me. And it's like, well, who are you? But John Ewing put up ads and went out there and did speeches and was on the streets talking to folks during interviews and whatnot and campaigning and saying, she's doing this because she don't want to talk about the potholes. She doesn't want to talk about the issues that are affecting you. She want to make up this issue that I'm not talking about. She doesn't want to talk about the potholes. And so I think the answer is not to run away from the confrontation. Like, you're not about to make me, as I used to always tell candidates, don't allow these folks, anybody, any of your opponents, to make you believe that you're for an issue that you've never taken up. Like, I don't know what the hesitancy is from some of the campaigns and the strategists over the last, couple of cycles to just not be clear about what folks are for and what they're not for. Because in 2024, that they-them ad was seen everywhere. And black people in Philadelphia told me, the organizers in Philadelphia said that everybody had saw that ad and there was no counter and they believed it. So I do think that, I don't think Democrats need to do a wholesale, you need a full brand rebrand, because I think, frankly, the Democratic Party brand, it might never be popular. But what may be, and that's okay, because what you need are candidates who people like and they want to vote for and who they believe in. And if the brand is popular or not, I think the Democrats need to be less concerned about rehabilitating the brand of the Democratic Party apparatus and more concerned about running candidates that are close to the issues in the districts and places that they're trying to win.
Justin,
Tim don't agree. Tim don't agree.
Can you play this they-them ad? I've heard everything from people think this is like the most catastrophic ad in the entire campaign to I don't think I've ever even seen the ad, or we might have watched it once, to other people saying like this ad was nowhere near as influential as people thought. It's just people online saw it and thought it was really influential. I don't know what the actual answer is. I don't know if there's like polling data on that, on how many people saw it. But there's some, it's like Trump is for you and Kamala is for they, them. And everybody's like, oh, this was the craziest fucking ad. Oh. But I actually don't know how much impact it had. I have no idea.
I know. I mean, the brand is boned. I agree with that.
The brand was poo-poo and people voted for Democrats anyway. Yeah, so to me, that says people are willing to support candidates even if they think your brand is shitty.
Well, I think that
I don't know.
I think that's an important part of what I think the dynamic we see, right? Which is, there was just report that came out that said, or here's a set of policies that are broadly popular that the Democrats should embrace going into the midterms, and they're pretty moderate and sort of.
Oh, a bunch of these people that lost some races and hadn't won recently put this report out?
Yeah, it was shocking. I for one was shocked when I saw that report. I was like, wow, so do the exact same thing that the Democrats have been doing that caused them a sequence of failures? That's good. I like that.
I knew there was no way.
Moderate enough. That was what the issue was.
There was no way I was going to get to the end of that sentence. I don't.
Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in every single main election and midterm off-season election, or just midterms, between like now and like 2018, moderates have like always and consistently outperformed this super far left weirdo flank of the party. Like, I don't know how these guys get away with saying, who are your far left warrior? They tried to primary Manchin in West Virginia. It failed fucking miserably. Nina Turner got fucking ruined in her shit. The Justice Dems went from 4. They tried to run like 90 people or expand, and all of them basically lost, and they went back to their original 4, or that whole pack might have just disbanded. Like this idea that you just gotta go further left and you'll win. I don't know if this was demonstrated literally fucking anywhere. I don't know how they can get away with continuing to say this. They all lose.
I don't even know why I considered starting it, but taken. But when I hear what you're saying there, when I see a report like that, I see a group of people struggling against a brand that is in the toilet and a bunch of people trying to win despite that, which is another way of saying we're in a ravine. Let's find the highest spot we can here in this trench that we're stuck in. But there's the reason I think this question is important, even if you're right, like people win despite disliking the Democratic Party, people hate Congress like their congressperson. I do think it's worth asking to what it is like to imagine a world in which Democrats are broadly popular. So,
how many gummies you take before coming out here?
So, which brings me to Jessica. I'll reveal something to all of you, which is John, Tommy, and I share an office perfectly. And we often, if not more often than not now, switch over to Fox News during the day. And we do because we want to see what's happening over there. But also, it's entertaining. It is. They're having fun over there.
True story.
And Jessica, I want you to talk about like what it is like to be in that environment. Because part of what is so fun is their just collective appreciation and shared view of Democrats, which is that they're kind of feckless and funny and ridiculous.
They definitely enjoy that part of it. And I'm so glad that this conference is this week and not last week, because we'd all just be sitting around crying and looking at that memo and saying, well, you know, this is 57% popular, so I think we should go with that. But now we have some wins, and we have this diverse set of wins, so I have had a way better couple of days.
Yeah, they've been almost circumspect.
Wait, is she, she's the person they bully the fuck out of on Fox News all the time, right? She's the one that sits at the table and she's the only one, she's like the liberal there? Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, sometimes they got a little rowdy too, but, you know, you can't dispute results like that. You can't dispute a Mamdani win and a Spanberger win and whatever happened in the Mississippi State House. And I'm obsessed with whatever a public commissioner is in Georgia. That, you know, I still don't know.
When nobody shows up to vote, we win.
Yeah. No, people.
It's important to remember.
But the joy is important to the formula that makes Fox so appealing as a set of programs to watch. And I think about it in context of the Joy campaign of 2024 that was not.
Hasan hates talking about this. These moderates that won, cringe.
Right, we were being told all the time, like, you're having so much fun. Like, Brat's summer feels great. And I did feel great at the DNC because I thought that was the moment of like, maybe we have a chance. But it was fleeting. And it's always on our side. I think since the 2016 election, it feels like it's forced upon us versus it's coming from within. There may be individual candidates that we're into. I've gotten super excited about people, you know, down ballot all over the place, or, you know, I love Ruben Gallego. Like, that's always fun for me to talk about. But because we have this kind of uniform policy of stay in line, it's joyless. Because you can't feel free to criticize somebody that you disagree with, or, you know, you're gonna get scolded by this person and that person. And
it's also kind of nice, like, when you're a Democrat and you lose an election, like, damn, like, I guess they just don't like us that much. That's kind of hard to deal with. When you're a Republican and you lose an election, that means that you're even more popular than what it would have taken to win, and the deep state's trying to take you down, and you got to fight even harder to get over the CIA, the NSA, and the Mossad trying to rig the elections against you. You always win. You're always winning. When you're a Republican, even when you lose, you're winning, okay? Even when you're losing, you're winning.
And the Republicans, generally speaking, live free of that amongst themselves. I mean, criticizing Trump is a whole other thing, but they go about their business in a way that we don't, and that I think that we're adapting to in, at least based on these election results. And Fox captures that there are people who have kind of like a shared core set of values maybe, but they're not taking themselves that seriously. They're not like scolding each other. Like, it also matters in the quality of the programming. It looks great. Our graphics are beautiful. Our lighting is fantastic. Are you making a face?
Look, I'm your Fedayeen. I'm your biggest diehard fan, okay? But no, I don't think the Fox News graphics are beautiful. Look, I respect...
Fedayeen is the slangish term, or the term for the Palestinian freedom fighters before there was the actual PLO or whatever, prior to 64. Oh my God, yeah.
What you do, especially because like if I had to sit next to Jesse Waters and Greg Buttfeld the entire time, I would kill myself. And the fact that you have been able to successfully sit in that room every day and just white knuckle through Jesse Waters' snide ass remarks is impressive. It is.
Concur.
Thank you, and it is nice to be amongst my people, which I'm usually not like cautiously weaving through here. But my point in bringing it up, and you don't have to love our graphics, even though they're copied in every movie and things like that. It's like the official look of it. But even when
the PR people love Jessica, she is a favorite of the Fox PR folks.
But nothing is taken that seriously, and that's not the case in liberal media. And that doesn't mean you're not talking about serious things. But there's this feeling like it is not the end of the world in every topic that you're discussing, and this idea that we can just go and show up in conservative spaces or come for an hour and you have to be open to those kinds of things, like, doesn't capture how hard it is for people who vote like me and some of the things that I think to genuinely form bonds and interact on an ongoing basis with people who you disagree with. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours is not getting to know the other side. Living amongst them and spending time with them is. And I think that's why I'm able to do my job and have a reasonable therapy bill, like not insane, but we know each other like the family that it looks like, which is dysfunctional, but it's still a family. And people who watch the show, and we have 20% Democratic viewership, like still get that.
Hasan,
Sorry, I know it's not maybe not the answer you guys wanted, but
you're not getting a lot of claps because you're defending Fox News in this room.
Well, I think, let me speak. I want to talk to Hasan about what you just said. But before, I heard something from the crowd, and I think it reflects what they're feeling, which is, well, they're not taking it seriously because these are people that are not appreciating the consequences or are ignoring or telling themselves a story about the consequences. And I know you know that. But that's a challenge for the left. I think sometimes we are seen as upset or scolding because we're motivated by like a deep set of values. And when you watch Fox, there's a frivolousness to it, but maybe that's a kind of carelessness about what's happening to the country.
I totally agree with you about certain issues, absolutely, and I make that very clear, and they can make fun of me or whatever, but elections have consequences. And we saw on Tuesday night that the American public sees through it. That's the point. Like, people get all hot and bothered about how conservatives are reacting to certain things and that they're being dismissive, but they're the ones that think the American public is stupid. And we're the ones who know that they can see what's going on. So whether you get 90 seconds of talk time or you get...
I will say, I still feel like, or who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's ontology. Maybe like dictators and authoritarians actually always are retards. But like if Trump would have been smarter politically, this country would be done. We would be in a full-on fasci. It would be over. But he's so fucking stupid. I feel like we lucked out majorly there. But maybe that's in the nature of people who are like that, is to be stupid.
To talk for hours a day on your podcast or on your live stream, all the things for Hasan. Like, they're the ones that are doubting people's capacity to understand. And so I get what you're saying, and I feel it. And sometimes I don't like being made fun of sometimes for being upset about American citizens taken into ICE detention and not getting to call their loved ones. But Tuesday night, people showed up all over the country and said, fuck off. That is unacceptable.
This episode is brought to you by Blinds.com. The holidays come fast. You're decorating, you're shopping, you're trying to keep up, and somewhere in the middle of it all, you realize those blinds could really use an upgrade. But who has time to deal with all that? With Blinds.com, you don't have to. You can refresh your space online easily and affordably before the holidays are in full swing. Blinds.com called out the window treatment industry for what it was: outdated, overpriced, and built to serve salespeople, not customers. So they flipped it. While others may overpromise or overcharge, Blinds.com delivers custom window treatments for your space, your way, at your convenience. And unlike some competitors, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees, and there's zero pressure. Need help picking the right look? Blinds.com's design experts are available on your schedule with free consultations. And if you want the full white glove treatment, they can even schedule licensed, vetted pros to measure your windows at no cost in the they'll install everything for one low price. And it's all backed by Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee, so you know you're covered literally and figuratively. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing they treat better than Windows is you. I gotta say, I remember at one point in my life, I moved into this apartment, and a few like weeks and months after living there, I was like, God, I'm just like sleeping terribly. What's wrong with me? Like, is it a medical issue? Then I went on a work trip and I stayed in a hotel, and it was really, really dark. I was like, oh, my apartment's just super bright. Great blinds in your bedroom are a game changer. You'll sleep better. You'll sleep longer. Just highly recommend it. The Black Friday deals at Blinds.com are going strong all month long, so don't miss your chance to save big. And as always, our customers get $50 off when you spend $500 or more. Just use the code CROOKED at checkout. It's a limited time offer. Rules and restrictions apply. See Blinds.com for details.
Wow.
This episode is brought to you by Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. When you're raising a glass to your team winning, catching up with your old buddies back in town, or just trying to stay sane with a house full of relatives, how you feel the next morning still matters. That's why I drink pre-alcohol. Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration. That's the blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme.
It's almost...
Yeah. Go to Z.
Okay, we got it. Jesus.
% off.
Hassan.
I gotta pause.
Hasan hasn't gone 17 minutes without talking.
I feel like it's Stephen Miller and Peter Thiel. Is it Thiel or Teal? I think it's Teal running things right now. Stephen Miller, absolutely. Maybe I need to watch more of the Peter Thiel guy. The Peter Thiel guy just seems fucking retarded. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is or what happened or what's going on with the crypto bros. I guess they must know software or something, right? Maybe. Elon doesn't. I don't know. Maybe the others do. But like when I listen to these guys talk about anything, like all the crypto bros, they just sound fucking retarded. That Andreessen guy sounds like a fucking retard. Peter Thiel sounds kind of fucking retarded. Like they all just sound fucking retarded. I don't know, man.
Okay, since 2014.
The stage is vibrating, and I'm sorry it took this long to get to the fact that what we saw in New York on Tuesday in many ways feels like an antidote to some of this problem. Zoran Mamdani is having fun out there. And
Bannon is way more politically intelligent, for sure. And Stephen Miller, I said that, yeah.
This problem, Zoran Mamdani is having fun out there. And he's also representing a incredibly enthusiastic base of people who are finding community in being part of politics. And that does seem like...
People are saying Mamdani barely won 50% in an 80% Dem city. Well, but he was running against another Democrat, right? I don't think that's fair. Like, do you think most of the people who voted for Cuomo are voting for Sylvia or whatever, or the Republican? Like, my guess is if Cuomo wasn't in that race, you'd probably see the majority of those people voting for Mamdani, no?
Like something now that is more easily formed on the left. I can think of all the candidates and campaigns that have been left-driven, that have built that energy and enthusiasm and sense of fun. Brad Summer was an exception. There was a moment where we can all look back and be like, I went full Brad.
I mean, I was there.
We were, yeah.
And as someone who was there to the DNC before I got kicked out, but on the last day, I actually found myself feeling a sense of anxiety over the course of every single day that passed, where I was like, why is everybody just like celebrating like we're at the end zone here when it is not a guarantee that Kamala Harris is going to win? And I kept warning over and over again that there were...
oh my God. I hate listening to this guy. I knew everything that was going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. You just say it. Lil bro, I hate the establishment. And all of my takes are, I hate the establishment because I wish we were all tankies. And that's it. Just say that. Why waste time for people that actually have actual political insight, who follow races, who care about political power? Like,
were a lot of unaddressed issues that the Democrats...
Wait, hold on. Didn't we watch a video on this? Didn't Hasan predict that Kamala would win?
Here's the situation. For those of you who are wondering, like Hasan, let me catch you up. Because a lot of you haven't really been following closely. A lot of people are just tuning in because the election is tomorrow. Many people want to know what the f is up. Now, something that I found out is that on my TikTok, the people are crazy. I usually agree with you, but I think she's had a great campaign. This is a TikTok we posted about my like broader analysis on on what I think is happening with Kamala's campaign and what I think is going to happen come November 5th or maybe November 6th. Originally, when this was a matchup between Joe Biden and Donald Trump pre-debate, I was saying, looking at 2022 performance, looking at the normal white theory, looking at vibes overall, I said that Joe Biden still had a likelihood of winning the election, albeit marginally. Then the debate happened and everyone recognized that Joe Biden was old. He was so old that his brain was leaking out of his ear. And then, of course, once everyone else recognized the thing that we have known for years and years and years, then it became impossible.
Years and years and years? You mean at most it would be 3.5 years. What do you mean years and years? How long has he been president for?
Possible. After that, my analysis was it's over. Then Trump got shot. On top of that, I was like, it's done. Even if Trump, especially if Trump hits the unity line, regardless, if he goes up against Joe Biden, he is going to win. And that was an absolute certainty. I gave you my lock. I said Donald Trump was going to win the election against Joe Biden. Then the RNC happened. Donald Trump did not go the unity route. Donald Trump chose J.D. Vance. That was a massive flub, massive mistake for him. That was a base pick because he was still gearing up for running against Joe Biden, which he thought would be a cakewalk for a W. Okay? And then the unthinkable happened. The Democratic Party responded to public pressure and donor pressure aligned in this beautiful moment, and establishment Democrats actually swapped out Joseph Robinette Brandon for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris then picked Tim Walz. Kamala Harris, in that short period of time, basically went from a relatively lesser-known generic Democrat to the person that was running for president. There was no electoral process that took place, which some people were frustrated by, and I totally understand why they were upset by it. Kamala Harris assumed that role, and in perhaps like a week-long period, Kamala Harris went from a lesser-known generic Democrat who was the vice president that people didn't really think about, people didn't know that well, to a person that had made up 10 points in the opposite direction, and it caught back up to Donald Trump. It went from Joe Biden is definitely losing to Donald Trump to, oh my God, Kamala Harris has a pretty good chance of winning. Now, that paired up with the fact that high-propensity voters were coming out and had come out already for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, and the down-ballot races outperforming Joe Biden at the time and even outperforming Kamala Harris at the time by like 6, sometimes 7 points in these key races in swing states made me understand that there's a lot of momentum and a lot of energy in the Democratic Party's direction. They just need a competent leadership. However, after the DNC, I kept repeating over and over again that the Kamala Harris campaign and the direction the Democratic Party was taking was basically running towards Joe Biden, who was seen as a old curmudgeon who was basically very unpopular, so unpopular that he had to do something unceremonious. He had to do something unique. He had to drop out of the race and, be swapped out for his vice president. All of that.
It wasn't because he was so unpopular. It was because of the debate performance. Also, the only issue he cares about is Israel-Palestine.
That aside, Kamala Harris still had the fundamentals. I kept maintaining the position that if she builds upon the momentum and actually has a bold policy agenda, talking and communicating how she's going to be different than the existing administration, that she would have a tremendous time in the polls. She would have a much better standing in the polls, that people would be openly, defending her.
She needed to campaign against her own administration. What that she was vice president of? This is retarded. Okay, whatever. Sorry. All right.
Just kind of never wanted to acknowledge it all. And
we not just be excited we had somebody who could talk, though. Could we just have had 1 week? We were excited for a week because she could talk.
No,
so that was great. So just give us a break.
No, but the excitement that came into the DNC was actually because for some reason, right? And the reason is because people finally realized Joe Biden was, his brain was leaking out of his ear. I'm sorry. and for that reason, I know there's probably a lot of Democratic Party staffers in here that are going to get really pissed off for me for saying this, but it almost felt like we had a competent party for once, and they were responsive to the people's needs. And that's the reason why everyone was excited. I was excited. When I saw Kamala Harris choose Tim Walz, when she could have just as easily gone with Josh Shapiro, for example, I was like, oh my God, is this happening? Is there like an actual progressive momentum backing this candidacy, backing this campaign? And then they backpocketed him. And Kamala Harris went from saying that she was going to do price control.
Backpocket? I feel like I saw Walz so much. He literally was doing duo interviews with her. She had the big one on at least, was it CNN, where they were at the table? Did Walz get backpocket? I almost feel like I saw more of Walz than I did Kamala Harris. But I might just be over-indexing on the Walz appearances that were popular. But, okay.
And she actually very decently messaged around that by saying,
he did kind of disappear for a while there. Maybe he did. Okay. I feel like I remember seeing him do speeches. We had that whole couch thing. I feel like we saw the weird shit. I feel like wasn't Walz supposed to be told to stop being aggro after he did the calling Republicans weird thing? Oh, maybe I missed that article. I feel like we saw a lot of Walz, though.
Going to go after price gougers, right, at the grocery store, which was her most popular policy at the time, and directly addressed one of the main economic anxieties that people were experiencing. And then, lo and behold, her brother-in-law, who's head of legal at Uber, came on and was like, cut this economic populism shit out. And then you had $50,000 in tax credits for small business owners, and that was not addressing the problems that people were experiencing. And I think that we have to do the honest autopsy of this campaign and realize that maybe people were excited for the progressive momentum that they perceived the campaign actually was going to have, and the responsiveness that the party finally had to the people's desires, to the base of voters' desires. But then they kind of just threw that.
Fuck, did Richard Hanani write the article? I totally believe this without having read the whole article. Maybe I should. I don't know if it was him or somebody else, but maybe it was an article you read. Small donors are actually the worst trackers of where the party's at least for the Democratic Party. That if you want to track where the Democratic Party is, you follow the donor money. Donor money is going to track broadly what most Democrats want way more than small donor money, because small donor money always curves really fucking far to the left. That if you follow the small donor stuff, you are like moving like so many positions to the left of where the average Democratic voter is, that it becomes like basically impossible to try to predict what kind of candidates you should run going off of that.
Into the wind and just kept pumping Liz Cheney and refused to talk about
pumping Liz Cheney. Ugh, all the same talking points.
Kind of just
somebody should ask. God, I wish one person on the stage would just ask him an electoral question. So, what progressive campaigns do you think were incredibly successful in 2024 that the Democratic Party should have taken heed of, that we should have followed more the example of, or in 2022? Press the donor button. Fuck.
The donor class.
that into the wind and just kept pumping Liz Cheney and refused to talk about.
Sorry for wanting to help. Poor Liz Cheney. Can I just do one thing on the honest autopsy though? Because I'm actually we can find some common ground on the economic populism stuff. I think the Kamala should have probably, in retrospect, obviously, had a more tangible message on economic populism. My problem with the walls thing though is that that relates to the topic of this panel is that I think if we're having an honest autopsy and looking back at the campaign, there were a lot of liberals that live on the coast that were like, whoa, this dude can change a carburetor, and I can put on a camo hat. Like he's gonna really that guy is really gonna connect with rural America because he seems like a guy that really connects with rural America. And people who grew up in rural America who lived in red spaces are like, no, that is the guy who was the PFLAG teacher at the rural high school. And by the way, being the PFLAG sponsor at a rural high school is awesome. That's a great thing to be. That everybody loves.
I have no idea. What is the PFLAG thing?
That's great. But everybody who's from that world did not look at him and say, you code conservative. They're like, you have conservative values like me. They coded him and it's like, oh, you're the nice liberal at the school.
Oh, pride flag.
Right, and so I think that if we're going to have an honest reflection on the last campaign, the economic populism stuff was a miss too, was a miss for sure. But being seen as being to the cultural left and being out of step with the country culturally on a wide variety of issues, whether it be social issues or COVID or free speech or just being able to chill on comedians' podcasts, that was a miss, and it was and people misunderstood what Tim Walz was bringing to the table, because he was not able to do any of that.
Yeah, I think the cultural stuff is only relevant if that is ostensibly the only thing that you're bringing to the table. And unfortunately for the Democratic Party, I mean, these used to be wedge issues for a reason, right? These were concocted in think tanks with the deliberate design to make it seem as though there was some significant disagreements between
He's talking about abortion right now, by the way. That includes things like abortion, by the way, which Hasan doesn't give a fuck about. One, because he fucking hates women, but also just because it doesn't play into his stupid class delusion bullshit.
Two parties, and they were created to make the Republicans more popular so that people would focus on whatever the Family Foundation decided was a more successful way to present anti-trans narratives after focus testing their message. When people are focusing on that, they're always going to go, okay, well, the Democrats are silly. Why do they care about this? This is like a tiny sliver of the population. Instead, they should, every moment that they're talking about that is a moment where they're not talking about affordability, where they're not talking about a working class centered party.
Where are the Democrats that ran on trans issues? Show them to me, people. Where are they? They did it.
Thank you. Oh my God, excuse me, do we have a queen? She said she was from North O, okay, which is where the queens come from. If she truly is from North O, she didn't just visit there, okay? But, uh-oh. Hold on.
About a working class centered party.
Where are the Democrats that ran on trans issues? Show them to me, people. Where are they? They did it.
No, I
agree.
Did it. I agree. They did
it was the Republicans.
But you actually brought that up, and I 100%.
Oh my God, and he does the thing. I hate people who do the interviews where you do, you say a thing like, oh, I actually think that 3 + 3 is 7. And you're like, I don't think so. I feel like 3 + 3 is 6. And it's like, yeah, I actually agree with you. And this is why I think, and it's like, what do you mean you agree with me? I feel like you just said the opposite of what I just said. People who do this yes and when somebody stakes a very clear disagreement, like what?
Exactly.
Where are they? They did it.
No, I
agree.
Did it. I agree. They did
it was the Republicans.
But you actually brought that up, and I 100% agree with you.
Okay, good. Sorry, I jumped out my seat.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you because you said the potholes, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking about the potholes and your opponent is constantly being like, well, what about trans people? Then they look insincere and they look silly. And there's no reason to betray marginalized groups and decide that we're going to actively write them out of the equation because they're working class as well. And this is something that I have never compromised on. And yet, seemingly, I've been able to find a very populist and robust movement in my own audience that does not compromise on these issues, but also
has zero electoral victories to show for the last decade. Okay.
Always in the affirmative, making the argument that we have to focus on kitchen table issues, if you want to use that kind of language.
That's the second question you should ask him. The first one is, what progressive campaigns over the past decade should we be taking note of, right? Who do you think are the successful progressive, winners in all these elections? Number one. And number two is, you've been broadly supporting for all of these issues over the past decade. Who represents your issues? Where has that found electoral success in the United States? The problem, and his answer will revolve somewhere around this manufactured consent thing. Their answer is always unfalsifiable. It's either, well, people like Mamdani win, or if they're not winning, it's because they want to say the deep state. They'll say the donor class and the lobbyists and the billionaires are actually covering up what the average person thinks, and they're donating too much money to the other side. It'll be some autistic, stupid shit like this.
Around it, but center the working class and try to seek out what their problems are, address them, and also make this earnest attempt and show that we are honest about actually fighting for them. And I think Zoran's campaign and its success was a fantastic example of this. I know people say it's in New York, but that's precisely what he did. 5 key issues. He went out, he asked people, what's your problem? I'm going to solve it. And he centered his campaign around 5 key issues of affordability in New York. And lo and behold, in spite of 22 billionaires spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to take him out, in spite of a very hostile media environment, especially leading up to the primary, or certainly after the primary, they genuflected a little bit by the end. But and all of these attack ads, he still won.
Yeah.
Who else besides Mamdani in New York City, in a local election in New York City? Who else are we taking note of here?
I want to see you guys.
No, it's your show.
I want to hear.
I am your guest.
God, this is going great.
Are we having fun yet?
I'm not. Are we having fun yet?
Also, I hope that at some point they won't. I wish people do this. Can you reflect this same like thought process over to the Republicans? Like, where the fuck was Trump campaigning on kitchen table issues? What the fuck was Trump doing to well, I don't even remember what the fuck it was on. He was going to close the border and tariff the whole world and do something with manufacturing. Like, bullshit. Like this is not, I don't think. Residual effects of inflation hurt. I think that was like 80% of it. Lower grocery prices? How? Yeah, he said that, but how? He didn't give any path to that. He didn't say, well, I guess he said tariffs, but.
Jessica, I want you to respond, and then I want to kind of tease two things out here.
Well, I agree. I totally agree. I just exist in a world where we can't behave that way. Like, not everybody who's going to run for office or who wants to have a voice can build the platform that you have. You're ridiculously talented, and
Damn, thank you.
no, but even being able to talk that long it's a skill set that I don't have. But when you say we don't need to deal with this, and I agree with you about that, and I remember when that happened, there are people who are running in races where you need to do more than that. Like we were talking earlier, I was over doing Tim's pod with him. We're talking about Jared Golden not running in Maine, and Jared Golden can't afford to not talk about the issues that his constituents genuinely care about because they also vote for Donald Trump. And for some of them, they just want to hear someone say, listen, I want to protect everybody. I'm an inclusive guy, but whatever happened with Leah Thomas, or that's always like the lightning rod, trans athlete issue. I understand your concern about, trans women in women's sports. That doesn't mean Jared Golden needs to say, I want to ban on this. It means Jared Golden says, like the head of the NCAA did when they testified, this is, we're talking about 10 athletes out of 500,000. So it is a small fraction of the population, but I'm not going to dismiss your concerns. And this big tent and a winning coalition across this country has to be compromising about what people need to do to win their races. I'm not talking about being bigoted. I'm not talking about being nasty, but the country operates differently in different places. And I feel like we give lip service to that, but don't always behave that way.
Like this is true. This is the difference between like being electorally minded versus, I don't want to say being a pundit or influencer, because you can be electorally minded being a pundit or influencer, although it takes more effort, right? Like when I talk about stuff, when Hasan talks about stuff, we're trying to, in a purely monetary sense or influential sense, we're just trying to maximize viewership, right? If I talk about some issues, I'll get 20,000 viewers, or 10,000, 15,000 viewers. If I talk about other issues, I'll get, 5,000 or less, or whatever it is. It just depends on what you're talking about. If you were to go over like electoral politics or like electorally relevant things on like Minnesota for a long period of time, like not that many people care. If you talk about the national level issues, like people care about their international issues, Israel, Palestine, people care about that way the fuck more. But when people go to vote in local elections, especially your older audiences, they do care about those local issues. And the idea that you're signaling needs to be the same in New Jersey and New York as it would be in like for West Virginia senator races or for Virginia or Georgia, right? That's just not the case. But on a national level, you don't really get into that much.
The thing is, like, if the Democratic Party was defined by 5 key policies, okay? Medicare for all, a single-payer system, socialized medicine.
This just doesn't work. The people that had the more radical positions on healthcare were not overperforming anywhere. They all underperform. Like these are just his own. This is like this is the influencer brain, the national level politics brain. Like these are just. I'm just going to talk about these things because these are the things that I care about the most, and I have the biggest audience with them. Like,
right, something of that sort, and a plan to expand the available.
Like imagine saying that like. Single payer Medicare for all is the popular strategy when like the ACA bare minimum right now is fighting for its fucking life. That the ACA tax credits just got fucking rescinded, and now we're hoping that it hurts Americans enough come December, January that we can fight just to get the tax credit subsidiaries back for the ACA. He's like, oh no, America wants Medicare for all. Like Jesus Christ, bro.
Medicine, right? Something of that sort, and a plan to expand the available housing units. I want socialized housing. That is not even broached. That's not even discussed amongst the Democratic Party. I want a federal jobs guarantee and a jobs program to build those houses, right? Free.
Like, bro, these are the most a federal jobs guarantee. This is like Green New Deal. You're on like 2016 talking point. What are you talking about?
College and better ed guarantee and a jobs program to build those houses, right? Free college and better education over
college and education. I'm so sorry. I love you guys. And there might be legitimate like policy level argument for this. But that electorally is cancer. It's cancer. You so much talk about like tax related stuff in order to raise money for this shit. And most college kids just don't fucking vote. Most people, when they get older, they get a career, they get over their college. This is just a loser of a fucking topic. I know that if online people like to talk about it, younger people like to talk about it, but electorally it's just not a good thing to waste political capital on or to focus on.
overall from K through 12, if those were like your 5 key signature campaign promises that directly tackle all of the issues that people, the economic hardships that people in the heartland are actually going through, and not just like, highly educated liberals in big cities, then any moment that these people would turn around and be like, well, what about trans people? They're going to get healthcare too. You could just be like, okay, what do you not want healthcare because you think a trans person is going to get it?
I just want to be clear.
Yeah, but Republicans would say, that's right. If they're going to get healthcare, I want my kid to fucking die. Base, true. They'd say based and true.
Like, okay, what do you not want healthcare because you think a trans person is going to get it?
Well, I just want to be clear. There was a moment on the debate stage where they weren't talking about trans people, but in the Democratic primary in 2020, they asked, there was one of the large primary debates, and they asked, well, do you think undocumented people should have health care? People raised their hand. It was used as an attack ad, and it was an effective attack ad. So I think sometimes and it's what the Republicans tried to play, although they didn't have as much success with it, but it was the main attack line they went for the Medicaid stuff. Oh, Democrats are just fighting to give health care to illegal immigrants. I agree with some of what you're saying. Okay, the dig at small businesses, I disagree with, because the biggest driver of wealth in African American.
Don't worry. Now, I know you just heard her say, you think you heard her say, I disagree, but don't worry. Hasan's gonna go, oh, no, I agree with you, and then go back into his talking points. Can he disagree with anybody ever? He's such a fucking pussy, dude. He's like a slightly larger version of Dave Smith. God, he's such a fucking loser. But maybe not. Hold on. I'm sorry. Maybe he'll push back.
What you're saying. Okay, the dig at small businesses, I disagree with, because the biggest driver of wealth in African American communities outside of government jobs, which is why the fact that 300,000 black women have lost their government jobs is a blow to like wealth ascension in this country for black women, is small businesses. And so the small business plan was a plan that spoke to working class black and brown people in this country who do not work at large corporations but had an idea, wanted entrepreneurship, and then they saw a plan for them. And so it was a wide, tense situation. But I guess my point is to Jessica, what Jessica is saying, yes, I do think candidates have to be, you got to run for your district. You got to run for the race that you're in. I'm a black woman from the Midwest every day, everywhere I go. Okay, I live in Washington D.C., but I'm black and I'm bald. So there are some things I think I hear when these conversations come up, and I've said in strategist rooms when they've come up on campaigns I've worked on, and I hear them on the sets and the commercial breaks when we have some of these candidates on our show. It feels like to some people that look like me that the people within the party apparatus want folks to compromise on issues that for me are not.
Does this lady have anything to do with the Ruining Your Mayo campaign? Probably. I'm literally just being racist. I don't know that. My guess would be that she would have been campaigning for one of the 2 other black female mayors. So I'm id-polling that. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she wasn't involved in that. But she said she was a political consultant. I have no idea, actually. That was just an assumption I made.
People within the party apparatus want folks to compromise on issues that for me are uncompromisable. When folks say that. And so, I do think that if the party is like, look, people need to, I think the answer is people need to run for the race that they're in. Okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean because let's be very clear, Donald Trump and the Republicans, they aren't looking for a big tent. They're like, mass deportation, F you, look at my one good black person, shithole countries in Africa.
True.
All the brown people need to be deported.
Thank you. True. That's what I mean. Reflecting back into the Trump campaign. Do these people look for a big tent? Now, they kind of have big tent, but they get there in a different way. But it's not by being super inclusive. It's just by making sure that everybody that they talk to has to vote for Trump. And then they'll kind of be inclusive past that.
And got blood coming down their eyes, but yay, we're going back to a meritocracy, and that means only white men. Hold on, what? But they were winning. And so they didn't win because they opened up the aperture and let people do what they need to do. They won because they tripled down on what they believe.
True.
That's just not right. That's just not, I'm sorry. That sounds good.
Oh, Tim coming out here. I respect this guy's opinion a lot. Okay.
And I like it. I want it to be right. It's just not right.
They didn't win because they tripled down on what they believe?
No, they did triple down on what they believe.
Yes, they tripled down on racism.
Yeah.
It was populism, but populism is a thin ideology mixed with a thick ideology, according to Cass Mudd. His populism had a lot of things in it. Was an economic populist, but populism had a little white supremacy in it, a little racism. Like Bernie Sanders is a populist in a different way than Donald Trump.
Yeah, here's the thing.
So I don't understand.
Here's the thing, though. Can I just say really quick, though?
He's like, he wants to agree so badly. Oh, I agree.
Thing. He doubled down on a bunch of terrible shit that they believe that's extreme. No doubt. He also was seen as left of Kamala on foreign policy. He was seen as an anti-war candidate. He was seen as...
I hate the left and right. Tom Bilyeu we argued about this a little bit. It was leftism is bad, or left is bad when we talk about government budgets. On the deficit, the left is bad. I'm like, well, hold on. Republicans have been worse for the deficit than Democrats. He's like, yeah, because they were further left on it. And it's like, well, Well, what the fuck does that mean then? Excuse me. When we say that like Donald Trump ran to the left of Kamala on foreign affairs because he wants to isolate the United States from the rest of the world, are we saying that isolationism is like a left approach to foreign policy? Historically, I'm not even sure if that's true. Not even in recent or far history, I'm not sure if that's true. But I don't know if people perceived it that way. Maybe the average person, because average people are fucking retarded. I don't know if people are viewing these things as strictly breaking down on like left-right spectrums anymore. I guess it's maybe possible, but it's not like Kamala also was pro-war. And Donald Trump was bombing motherfuckers too. This is the guy who ran. People forget this, but in Trump 1, he literally ran on saying, I'm going to bomb and kill the families of terrorists.
He also was seen as left of Kamala on foreign policy. He was seen as an anti-war candidate. He was seen as anti the Republican establishment on war. He cut to the middle on that.
Yeah, he lied about that for sure.
He's a liar. He lied.
Yeah.
He lied. But then maybe our guy should lie about some things that are popular too. I don't know.
Now you sound like me during the campaign where I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing when you're not like addressing this stuff where Donald Trump can present himself as the peace candidate? That was insane to me. But obviously, sending Bill Clinton to Dearborn to talk about Judea and Samaria, as most people were seeing.
All right.
Most people were seeing.
I want to bring us back.
Children on their timeline every day.
Let's not pretend like they didn't moderate on things. That's all I'm saying.
I'm having so much fun.
No, I'm sorry. You cannot have a convention where you have
Israel Palestine, by the way.
signs that say mass deportation now.
I'm not saying he wasn't a moderate. I'm saying he moderated on things.
Ethnocentric nationalist version of this country and say that he moderated. What he did is say, people in Gaza, you should vote for me because Joe Biden ain't doing what you want. That's not a moderation. He had good rhetoric, but his policy was consistent. And the vice president on that debate stage said all of the things that he was saying that he would do, and he has outdone them. He said he was going to send the military into the streets. He was saying it on the campaign. That's not moderation. That's fascism.
I agree,
said he was going to deport all of these people in this country. That is what he said. That it's not just the criminals. He's coming for anybody that is in this country who is undocumented. So I can't get with the Donald Trump didn't moderate a bit. No, they tripled down on the bad stuff and had nice graphics and good and smiled through it.
So I want to bring us back.
Queen.
All right, Hasan, quick, and then I want to bring us back.
Simone is absolutely right.
Oh my God, get this guy out of here. Why is he wasting time? Tim, I would have infinitely more interesting stuff, and so would fuck, I don't know her name, Jessica would have infinitely more interesting stuff.
100%, and these were things that I was screaming about nonstop.
Oh my God.
There was also
with me that he ran to the left of Kamala on foreign policy.
On foreign
That's
policy.
moderating. He
on
moderated
foreign policy.
He didn't run on the unpopular Republican views on foreign policy.
He ran to the left on foreign policy only because the Democrats came out and said, I'm going to have the most lethal military. Because unfortunately, I mean this sincerely, I don't think the Democrats actually saw the threat of Donald Trump as a significant enough threat, because if they were, they would have locked in and had better messaging overall and tried to at least...
Oh, if they would have known he was a threat, they would have just had better messaging. Oh, they would have just done better. Fuck. This is why I hate the Democrats so much. They would have just done better. They would have just had better messaging. Fuck. Oh, man. They would have just had better messaging. Fuck. Obviously. Damn.
Establish a base of support with counter narrative, with counter messaging leading.
They just needed counter messaging and counter narratives. Fuck. True.
Up to the election, not in the aftermath or not during the election, but leading up to the election, because Republicans, they act as though there is an election every single day. They are constantly on message. They're constantly creating an alternative reality with lies, saying that undocumented migrants are actually responsible for a metric ton of the crimes that are taking place in American cities, when that is an abject lie, okay? And when I talk to congresspersons...
That's true.
But
Hasan is manufacturing the same thing on the other end. Kamala supports genocide. They had a nickname for it. They didn't call her Genocide Harris. Didn't they have another name for her? Was it Holocaust Harris? I don't remember. I feel like they had another nickname. It might have been Holocaust Harris.
We at the DNC.
Like, this fucking retard was literally at the DNC outside, like marching with the fucking what they call the non-aligned movement or whatever. Like,
or even before, even after. And I tell them, why the fuck aren't you guys counter messaging against this? We are a nation of immigrants. America is the most diverse nation on the fucking planet. It is literally the reason why we are such a domineering force beyond all these other, the
uncommitted,
violent reasons. But like that is one of the most redeemable aspects of America that I personally love, that the Democrats completely dropped because they were scared. They saw that one poll from the Pew Center of Research that said that 66% of Americans want mass deportations. That exact same poll also showed that if given two options, mass deportation and mass amnesty, that the majority always chose mass amnesty. So why is that never communicated? Because Americans, sure, the median voter, trying to understand where the median voter is coming from is impossible, okay? You will kill yourself if you try to understand what these people are thinking.
You just lost me, Hasan. I was with you halfway through that, but you lost me, but I'm with you.
But what I'm trying to say is this, okay?
We still
there
agree.
are
Whatever it is, don't
Trump
worry.
supporters out there, okay, that have been deluded into thinking that Donald Trump represented a change. And obviously, we saw that buyer's remorse this past Tuesday, right? Especially in Hispanic communities where they were like, oh, I can't believe that he is actually doing mass deportation. And it's you know, we're in D.C., it's a fairly liberal crowd, and we laugh at those people. But, like, I talk to those people every day, and there were people that genuinely thought, they genuinely believed that Donald Trump was actually excising the violent criminals.
Oh, shit. Did you guys see? You know, I say it goes up 5 million every time. I think we're up to 30 million. Was it J.D. Vance who said recently that Biden let in 30 million illegal immigrants? Am I making this up? I think JD said 30. Fuck, when was this article? November 13th. One of these videos.
President Richard the...
Not this one. That's a picture. Who knows if it's going to be this one?
Michael Wolff
Doesn't look like it.
Document.
Whatever. Someone will link a video. Wait, second paragraph. A lot of young people are saying housing is way too expensive. Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants, Vance said during an interview with Fox News host John Hannity. It goes up 5 million every time. What are we going to be at by the end of the year?
And the only reason why people are
housing is way too expensive. Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who were taking houses that ought by right go to American citizens. And at the same time,
I think the total number, even including all the asylum people, was like 3 or 4 million under Biden, right? I think it was 3 or 4 million when we looked at it last. 30 million! That's like tripling the population of legal immigrants in the United States. Where are these people? 30 million! Also, hold on. Let's just math this out. Think about this. 30 million people under Biden divided by, let's just do 4 times 365 is 1,460. 20,550 illegal immigrants every single day? Every day? 20,000 a day? How many states do we have that border Mexico? Is it 3, 4? California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. 4 states, which would mean, assuming they all come in through border states, although I guess they could get around or airport or whatever, that's like 5,000 illegal immigrants every single day. 5,000 per day. Population, Texas, over 30 million people. Maybe they could absorb a lot. Population, well, no, wait, actually, population Arizona, 7.5 million. Population New Mexico. Most of these people would stay in the border states, right? New Mexico is only 2.1. So 40 million people between those 3 states, and 30 million illegals came in. Maybe most of them went to California where there's more people. Like 30 million?
led to believe this lie, aside from the faucet of misinformation that comes from independent outlets on the right and also Fox News as well, is because there is no robust response from the Democratic Party that says, that's a fucking lie. That's a lie. undocumented migrants in this country are responsible for a lower rate of per capita crime than natural-born U.S. citizens are. If you pair that up with documented migrants, it's negligible. It is marginal, and they're hyper-focusing on it specifically because this is a vulnerable population that is easy to target and it's easy to ridicule, and there is not enough of a robust defense mechanism out there. Yeah. And that's the reason why people end up believing this bullshit, and then they get shocked when it's actually implemented.
So I think
the population of Venezuela is 30 million. Where do they say? What? Okay. Population of all of North America and South America is 1.3 billion people. What is the population of Canada? Population of USA and Canada is 347, and 40 is about 390 million. So 1 billion minus 390 million. So about 610 million, 30 million illegals. So about 5% of the population of all of South America and Mexico came illegally to the United States. What? Like, it's just on its face. This is what I mean when I say these are fake problems. This is not a real thing. 30 million. That's such an ungodly amount of people. 30 million. Prior to Trump won, the estimated illegal immigrant population in the United States was about 13 million of all the illegal immigrants here. 30, it's just one of those things that's on its face, such a ridiculous number. Like, there are things where people say things that, like, strain credulity, okay? You got a friend who's kind of lanky, okay? A guy like me comes up and he's like, I say, like, oh yeah, about a year ago, I was repping 225 on the bench. Like, maybe. Really, bro? But, like, imagine, like, oh, me, 5 plates. Like, at some point, the number is, like, so retarded. Where it's like, why? It's, like, not even a good lie. Like, that's so fucking stupid. Why would you even say that? Like you got to be retarded to even make that lie up. It doesn't make sense.
I think that's a good point. And I think I sort of agree with Tim and with Simone about this.
Impossible. Fundamental rift.
Because one of Trump's gifts is I think he convinced a lot of people he was going to.
How do we make average people make those connections? I think you have to be on the debate stage and you have to do it. Because the biggest thing I got my mom to stumble on, because we argued over these numbers in 2016, when she said Democrats brought in 1 million illegals to vote, is I just asked my mom, I gave my mom the phone, I said, Mom, show me the videos. And she's like, what do you mean? Show me the videos. I need to see thousands of buses of illegal immigrants coming in. You're telling me Obama brought in 1 million illegal immigrants to vote? And how do these people all get here? There have to be tons of buses, tons of planes. Somebody would have gotten video camera footage at a gas station, at polling booths. Where are they? That's a lot of people. You're not talking about sneaking 1,000 people into a country of 330 million. You're not talking about sneaking a few hundred people into, like, California. You're talking about 1 million people, primarily in southern states, so you're even more restricted. Where are the videos? You wouldn't be able to hide this. It's not possible. You can't hide this.
Because one of Trump's gifts is I think he convinced a lot of people he was going to go after criminals, but he also said at the convention that they were going to do mass deportations. And I think how to bring it back is that is possible because of a big void. So Trump can do a lot. Trump has room to operate. 2 million.
Like, what? How many have they deported even? Going even by their numbers. How many? Also, hold on. I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on. Medaway just tried to make a point, but I actually just realized the point is even more retarded than what Medaway is saying. You're focusing on the wrong stat. He's saying 30 million new people came in and took houses. There isn't even enough house. No. Forget that. Hold on. If housing is so expensive in the United States, how are 30 million poor people from South America coming to the United States and buying up all the homes? Where the fuck are they getting the money for this? Explain. This is what I would say on the debate stage. I would say, I need you to walk me through the journey of a poor fuck coming from Venezuela, where you say socialist policies have them eating rats. Walk me through how he goes from Venezuela to New Mexico and gets the money to buy a fucking house. Walk me through. I want to hear the process. Give me the story from start to finish. We can spend the rest of the debate on it. Tell me how the fuck they do this. I don't believe it. I don't believe this. These are just ridiculous statements. 30 million people. 30 NGOs. If that's the case, then that's a godsend. How are they pumping all this money into our country? This is the most economic stimulus you could ever hope for. Oh my God.
possible because of a big void. So Trump can do a lot. Trump has room to operate, to maneuver. Why? Because he has built an authentic connection with millions of people who believe him, who have his back, who think, yeah, he'll compromise. It is inconceivable that Kamala Harris would appoint Mike Pence to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. Inconceivable. We wouldn't live in that world. But Trump can appoint a Kennedy to run the health department. Why? Because he has built such a credible, loyal following.
No, careful on that. I hate this talking point. Wait, he's not, oh my God, I should know his name. John, it's John. Hold on. He doesn't do this. I hate it when people say things like, Trump built a broad coalition of people. Look at the people on the left that joined him. Like now you've got Fetterman, and in the past you had people like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK. Look at all these left-leaning people. These were not left-leaning. Get the fuck out of here. You're talking about the craziest, most fucking outer perimeter lunatics in the fucking planet. These are not mainstream center left to far left people. These were very unorthodox people in the party. Like, that is not a broad coalition of shit. Bullshit.
That he, because of the authentic way in which you don't agree with that.
Cult. No, it's just
Cult.
Upgrading
Well,
you
you
from
can
cult.
look. You can, yes, it has certainly become a cult, right? And then you look at our side, and you find the politicians that have that kind of authentic connection to the voters. You look at the list of leadership of the Democratic Party. How far down do you go before you have somebody that can fill an arena? You have to get to Bernie Sanders. You go to Barack Obama. You go to Zohran Mamdani. You go to AOC. It is largely on the left. That is the truth of this moment. But it wasn't always true. Barack Obama didn't run from the left. He ran against Washington. Bill Clinton had that kind of momentum. He actually ran from the right. But right now, that energy and connection is coming from the left. And so Hasan lays out a group of policies that are from the left. Like, I'm not for socialized housing.
From the very far left, but these aren't popular. But also, I believe the other people were responding like to the moment in time. Like when Obama is running against DC and Washington. First of all, Obama's a fucking senator already, okay? So Obama's already kind of establishment-ish, okay? Number one, it's not like Obama was this, I guess like maybe we code him as being like a huge outsider, but I mean like kind of. But like Obama was already like in government. And the government at the time, we had a lot of economic issues. Keep in mind, we came off the whole fucking housing crisis bullshit and people still hated like the fucking wars, Iraq and Afghanistan. We wasted a fuck ton of money. That was super unpopular. I think the Republican Party was kind of lost at the moment. Remember, these motherfuckers put up a McCain-Palin in 2008, right? It was McCain-Palin in 2008. This was a lost party, okay? These people were lost as fuck.
I'm for building a ton of housing.
Boo.
That's okay. But it is a void that the left is currently filling, that the leadership of the Democratic Party is.
He was an outsider candidate. Obama was he was an outsider candidate, but not in the same way I don't think that like Trump is an outsider candidate. I think that you can call them both outsider, but I think it's a very different type of outsider. Like Obama was not like, we need to burn the whole fucking system to the fucking ground. Let's go. Whereas Trump was basically that, you know?
It is a void that the left is currently filling, that the leadership of the Democratic Party is not. How does Trump get away with all this stuff? How do we get defined as being anti-trans? The other day, Bernie Sanders was asked.
Remember, this was Trump's job. This is like saying, how is it that we have a Republican president who's so strong and powerful? If the Republican president was like fucking Floyd Mayweather or something, it's like, well, he's been boxing his whole life. Of course, it's like, how are you even supposed to compete with that? Why does Trump have a cult? This guy did The Apprentice, okay? I know if you're younger than me, maybe you don't remember this. The Apprentice, I've said this a million times, The Apprentice was a loved show in the United States. Every motherfucker loved Donald Trump, okay? Nobody hated Donald Trump in the U.S., all right? No, except for maybe older people, maybe from New York City that remember some weird shit about Central Park 5 or whatever. But generally, everybody, The Apprentice was a super popular reality TV show. He had a ton of social capital. People liked him. Like, he was campaigning for the job of president, arguably for decades before he actually ran for president.
About the border, and he said, our country's got to have a border. And that pissed off some people on.
Me too.
It pissed off some people on the left. Did it piss off Hasan?
I mean,
our country with all this stuff. How do we get defined as being anti-trans? The other day, Bernie Sanders was asked about the border, and he said, our country's got to have a border. And that pissed off some people on.
Me too.
It pissed off some people on the left. Did it piss off Hasan?
I mean, I disagree with Bernie Sanders' message around that because obviously, yes, nation states have well-defined borders and boundaries.
But my point about it is he can say that with confidence because everyone knows what Bernie Sanders stands for.
Yes.
And so when he is asked about trans issues, when he is asked about issues in which Democrats are not at 55-45, but at 30-70, whatever it may be, he can either say, you know what, I don't care about that, I'm not talking about that, or he can answer in a way that maybe riles some of the base, but you trust him. And that to me is the connection between, honestly, the kind of like what seems a bit frivolous, like are we having fun, and the actual hard work of politics. Like Zoran, you said.
That is true too. And I don't think John, I hope not, wouldn't lose sight of this, but it also depends on like, where are these people at? Like, I'll admit, I don't know. Well, and who knows? Well, hold on. Maybe I'll change my mind on this, okay? Like, when Bernie Sanders runs in Vermont, what is the opposition that he's like facing in his election? Like, are these close races? Like, is there legitimately people that are threatening his seat either in the primaries or in the general when he's running? Because like, you have for him to be able to say like, oh, he can rile the base up. Well, yeah, because one, the base is outside of his state, so who cares? And then two, he's got a seat that he's never losing, right? Fuck, somebody link me. I can't navigate anything. I can't navigate anything anywhere. Ballotpedia, Vermont, Senator. State Senate. No. Okay, in the general in 2024, it's not even close. It's 30 points. He crushed this guy. Okay. I think, does nobody even bother running, or is this because he's an independent? I don't know. Okay. 2018 general. Jesus, 50 points. Crushed this guy. Okay. Primary, crushed this guy. 2012. Is this the general? Almost 50 points, crushed, right? So of course he can rile up the base a little and say, a few crazy things, but like, he's so safe. He's so safe. And he's speaking in places where he's not trying to technically win he's safe. It's a different standard. It's a different way that these people can speak,
Was moderating in the last game of the base, but you trust him. And that to me is the connection between, honestly, the kind of like what seems a bit frivolous, like are we having fun, and the actual hard work of politics. Like Zoran, you said, was moderating in the last few weeks of the campaign. I was glad to see that. Tim and I are both people that pushed him hard.
I almost got a t-shirt.
I am to the left of
came
Tim.
out against him, and I was like, okay, we're in business now, Z.
I mean, the reason why Zoran was moderating on, I don't know what he was moderating on. I guess like maybe you guys were talking about like the policing stuff, even though it was, now that the election is over, we can be honest about it. That Zoran Mamdani did this brilliant thing that got liberals to basically come to terms with a lot of things that liberal media had considered radical, right? Because he had a way with he had a really good way of communicating these.
Can you generously call that he did a good job of listening, seeming curious, and being persuasive to bring more people into his?
Sure, yeah. Well, but one of the things that he did, but he was still uncompromising. Defund the police always was about making sure that the headcount either remained stable, but then we actually turned around and restructured some.
Defund is the beer.
Defund the police is I cannot believe anybody in 2025 would defend defund the police. What a shit show nightmare of a slogan, of a movement, of a catastrophic policy. Like, it was just everything about this was trash. Okay. When you have, the funniest thing is like, you could walk into a room of 10 people who are like, defund the police. And you come and go like, huh, oh yeah? I think defund the police would get rid of the entire police force, and that would be horrible. And then all 10 people will tell you that's not what defund the police is. And then all 10 people will give you a different answer on what defund the police is. No one at any, whatever answer Hasan about to give here is not, everybody had a different answer for what the fuck defund the police meant.
Count either remained stable, but then we actually turned around and restructured some.
Defund is very
now who's doing it? Now you're the PR guy. That's the most politically you've sounded.
No, but the thing is, it has a bad rap. No matter what you say or do, Democrats immediately attacked it. They said this is a danger, and it's partially because Americans really love police. It's unfortunate.
Oh my God. It's unfortunate because people like their neighborhoods to be safe and not to get fucking murdered and raped everywhere, and not to have people stealing and breaking into their shit, and not to feel like the place you live in, you could get like, okay. Yes, tell us more, Mr. WeHo. God, I hate this fucking loser.
Democrats immediately attacked it. They said this is a danger, and it's
Link the debate that I had with him over Kamala Harris, funnily enough, in 2020. And I'm like, do you think if a woman was walking down the street late at night and there was a guy who was following her and was like catching up to her and was like chasing her, should she call the cops if the guy is a minority? And it sounds like, I wouldn't call the cops. Bruh.
Because Americans really love police. It's unfortunate. I don't know how, because they don't do their fucking jobs.
fucking crime. It's not a random misdemeanor of a student. Like, she's being victimized by a fucking crime by a stranger or even someone that she knows.
Sure,
That's
okay.
entirely
So
different than,
let's say
fucking,
that, sure. So
a resource officer being like, oh, I just saw you fucking steal. Sorry, guess you're out of here, buddy.
Sure. So let's say that
14-year-olds out of this country.
Sure. So let's say that a woman is at a party. She starts walking home and she's being followed by some people. And she's getting nervous. She doesn't know if she's going to be assaulted away. Let's say that she calls the cops there. Cops arrested 2 guys and they get reported to ICE because they're illegal immigrants. Did that woman, is she playing a part then in calling the cops and getting illegals deported? Should she not have done that?
This is hurting my brain, dude.
It's hurting your brain because
because a random stranger walking and feeling threatened by random people is entirely fucking different than, like I said, a school participating in this thing that they know they shouldn't be participating in.
I'm only asking this because you said
they fucking possibly can.
You said to never call the cops. So I'm asking you if you really feel that way. You said you should never call the cops. So it sounds like you don't actually feel that way.
Wowie.
Okay. You, in the comfort of your own home, calling police officers because you saw some random people that scared you is a little different than a woman walking home at night, or a man walking home at night alone and feeling threatened by the presence of other people. They would still be somewhat complicit, but it's not the exact. It's not the same.
Okay.
In that, under that
Call the cops. So there are 2 things. Sure. So there are 2.
Someone else did not do that as well. But
and there he was. I wouldn't do it, and I would say someone else should do it. I think you said it there.
So, okay, there are 2 things.
Sure,
I probably wouldn't.
Else to not do that as well, but it's more understandable, and it doesn't really matter because under none of these circumstances do you have an obligation to the person that you're fucking calling the cops on.
Okay.
I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
You're giving me like one of the most privileged arguments I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, you're literally telling me, like, well, if you're a woman and you're walking down the street and you might be scared because people follow you, it's pretty rude of you to call the cops. It's a pretty mean thing to do, dude. Don't do that. What if you've got a person who lives in a neighborhood where there have been a lot of break-ins? What if it's somebody who's had their house broken into before and are worried that they're going to do it? Like, it's easy for you to say, like, oh, you should never ever call the cops ever. I don't know if you've been in these situations or if you know people that have been in these situations. That's a pretty shitty thing to say to people that, like, maybe are actually fearing for stuff like that. Like, I feel like it's really crazy to be like, oh, you should just never ever call the cops ever.
Why the fuck would you say it's a privileged argument?
Because you're making it because it's a really privileged argument. This idea that, like,
ask the fucking people that live in poor neighborhoods if they choose to call the cops under these circumstances.
Yes, you do. And this idea that like all poor people are like, I never call the cops. I don't trust the cops. Like, have you ever seen the show Cops? What, like, do you think that the cops are exclusively going to the fucking wealthiest zip codes of the United States of America? They're always in the fucking shittiest fucking neighborhood. What are you talking about? Like, what?
They're not, okay? Like, what are you talking about? It's a privileged argument. If you talk to a person who lives in a fucking poor neighborhood, I'm confused, like, right now. Like, what?
Okay, sorry.
Ever, and I wish they would, because I'm not saying we can
for police
live in
never do their jobs ever.
I want to be able to call the police. I just don't want them to think I'm a suspect when they show up.
Exactly. You just said that none of them want to call the cops. Why he agrees with everything on this panel. He's so worthless. This is why he doesn't debate anybody or why he doesn't go to any places that are like challenging. He can't do it. He literally cannot push back. Well, I don't know how these people are such pussies. How do you have no conviction for anything you believe in? So what a cucked position. Holy shit.
We want a presence of law and order, and unfortunately,
that doesn't mean have anything to do with cops.
Fortunately, in many communities, police's presence is lawlessness and disorder. Now, having said that, he wanted to not reduce the head count necessarily, but at least like bring in social workers to take away some of the bandwidth, some of the workload from the police. And that was a message that resonated with even Tim Miller, it seems.
Like, this is, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what the panel is going to say. This will never happen. No medical professional wants this. Nobody would be okay with this. If somebody is calling the police on somebody having a crisis, it's because they're either a danger to themselves or a danger to the people around them. You don't want fucking Miss Daisy to show up as a social worker to handle the situation. Even if you have a social worker that comes out, which I do think would be beneficial, it would be good. I think social workers should be more involved in this. You still need the police there as well. You still need somebody who is trained in use of force as well. You're never having a person having a freak the fuck out moment where you're just calling your nice psychiatrist or your nice social worker over to talk them down. By the time you got to the point where you're calling emergency services, it's because you have an emergency.
Of the bandwidth, some of the workload from the police, and that was a message that resonated with even Tim Miller, it seems. He liked it.
It was.
You want to defund the police now?
No.
So retarded.
This episode
also, not to mention, all of these things would require dramatically more funding for the police as well. But
brought to $1 billion. Whether your new benefit, that's one we've outgrown. Fortune, like therapy, makeup week of is feeling. There's something slippers. They've all ugliest toes. By the way, something for everyone can say home. Very price /
You're talking.
Code is the code. Good at checkout.
Can I just really quick? Because I think, like Simone, I'm like, you're talking. I'm like, yeah. And then you say something like, dude, bro. Here's I think what Zoran did well that kind of combines part of what you're talking about with what maybe I think I'm happy he didn't take your advice on part of his campaign. But what he did well.
Got him.
Are we having fun yet? Zoran was happy. He was having a good fucking time. He was a front hang. He came on my pod. We had a great time. He had a couple.
There's the thing I said when I was doing all like the Red Pill podcast or whatever, like the most important thing for communicating to the audience is you always have to look like you're having fun. I don't know if I've ever seen Mamdani mad before. That dude always looks like he's having fun every place he's at. Maybe there were appearances that he made and I just missed him or whatever, but he's like smiling infectiously, might I add. He is smiling all the time. He always looks like he's happy. He's like always on his message. He's always like, it almost sounds like he's like excited sometimes to deal with a challenge for the thing that he's given. He's like, it's almost like a communication hack in terms of it seems like he can navigate so many situations because of that. He was so good about that.
Couple specific things.
Yeah, dude, cooked him on globalize the intifada.
Well, that wasn't his best answer. That wasn't his best answer.
Which I'm pretty sure, I think he walked away from that globalizing intifada thing, didn't he? Which I think triggered people like Hasan. Didn't he give the whole like, oh, I talked to a bunch of Jewish people, and I went to the fucking temple and saw some rabbi dudes, and they were like, oh, don't do that, and he's like, because I don't support that anymore. I think didn't Mamdani walk away from that?
But we were vibing though, and people that listen to the pod liked it. He had 4 issues, like you mentioned. Like it's kind of hard to know what Kamala's issues were. I think if you quizzed all of us on here, everybody would say different things. Everybody knew what Zoran's issues were. That was good. He was good on that. He could go on a pod with me or somebody else. He could have gone on Rogan for 3 hours and hung out and had a good time. So he can communicate. He's happy. He had 3 or 4 issues. But he also just did like making the practical decision to say he was going to keep the police chief rather than doubling down on the tweets that he sent in 2019 was smart, practical politics. Like you can do both.
I
You
agree.
can have clear.
I agree.
I agree everything. Even when people, I agree everything. Left-wing policy issues that people understand. You can be positive and optimistic, and you can also be practical. He did all of that like quite well, actually.
I'll give you. I agree with that.
That's Obama energy. Obama never got mad in public. Probably true. There might also be a kind of a second-ish hidden thing there. Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Was this a reel or an Instagram story? Where did I see this? I'm not going to be able to find this. Who knows what I'm talking about? I feel like I just saw this pop up recently, but it might have been a video. Might have been on late Reddits. Google search. Are you talking about the angry black man effect? Yeah, that like, especially if you're black. I don't know if this applies as much to Indians. Maybe for Americans, for white people, it applies to all scary brown people, but especially for black people. You like, once you've gotten loud, it's like over. People are like, oh God, Tyrone is going to come fucking murder all of us. Like, it's too scary. The big black guy's got to go. Like, we can't handle this. So I'm sure there's some level of practice and reserve, especially if you're hanging out in white majority communities, where if you are, especially black, maybe for Indian too, like, especially as a man, you cannot get loud. You always have to be chill or cool because people are going to look at you way differently if you ever have a moment. Fuck, there's a clip of a black attorney talking about how he had to go to some state, it was like fucking Louisiana or Mississippi or some bullshit, and he had to. I think the judge and the opposing counsel they were like making like racist jokes. They're saying something that's like not okay, and the guy kind of just had to laugh through it because he's like used to having to do this. I'm not gonna be able to find this. Somebody find this. I have no clue what you're talking about. Somebody will find this video.
I think his messaging was good on that.
Also be practical. He did all of that like quite well, actually.
I'll give you, I agree with that. I think his messaging was good on that, and that's precisely what I was talking about. Like, for example, okay, especially not in like the broader population's understanding of this issue, but like in mainstream media and in American politics, there's a major division between how the population is receiving what Israel is doing. And
I went to Harvard Law.
Oh my God. Israel, Palestine again. Motherfucker cares about Palestine when they're the I bet there are Palestinians that watch more shit unrelated to Israel, Palestine than what Hasan goes over.
I went to Harvard Law School. I've got a lot of degrees and awards. I've won cases at the U.S. Supreme Court, and I've been in courtrooms representing clients, getting there early, sitting at defense counsel's table, where the judge will walk in and immediately get mad at me. The judge will look at me and say, hey, you get back out there in the hallway. I don't want any defendants sitting in my courtroom without their lawyer. And I have to stand up and say, well, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I am the lawyer. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Brian Stevenson. I have to try to de-escalate this situation. And I was doing that recently. I was in a courtroom in the Midwest, and the judge started laughing, but it wasn't an apologetic laugh. And it kind of angered me. And the prosecutor started laughing. They thought it was so funny. And I was sitting there getting angry. And then I thought, oh no, Brian, you can't get angry. You need to smile. You may need to laugh. And I felt that way. I thought that way because my client was not going to be able to leave that county. I was able to leave that county and never come back based on the way I was treated if I chose to do that. But my client was going to have to stay there. So when they were laughing, I smiled. And then I eventually chuckled. Client came in, we did the hearing. But I remember sitting in my car after that hearing thinking, wow, here I am, this middle-aged black man. I'm in my best suit. I actually argued the case at the Supreme Court that we were trying to implement. I got all of these degrees and awards, and I'm still required to laugh at my own humiliation to do justice for my client. That's not right. That's not fair. And I'm getting old enough to know that when you have to constantly navigate presumptions of dangerousness and guilt because of your color, when you have to tell your children how to survive a police encounter, what to do and what not to do, how they can't do the things that their white friends can do because they're going to be burdened with this presumption, when you have to constantly navigate this world, it's exhausting. And I want something better. I want something better for everybody. And that's why the commitment to truth-telling, the commitment to building institutions that help us understand the harms of history is such a priority.
Okay.
How our division between how the population is receiving what Israel is doing and how our politicians are responding to it, right? And how the media even responds to it. Anti-Zionism is like a scary term or a scary word for a lot of media professionals in a way that, like, you know, being anti-Israel is not necessarily scary at all for the average person. As a matter of fact, they are very anti-Israel now, and there's polling to reflect on that.
They're not. He's conflating polling of like, are you less sympathetic towards Israelis? It's not the same as being fucking anti-Israel, bro. And nobody cared about this. This was not like, well, I shouldn't say nobody cared. That's not true. But this was not like a top 5 issue in the election. There was, like, you can look at all the polling data. Like, some people had strong opinions about it, but this was not like the issue to focus on, to center on. Like, how much was Trump talking about fucking Israel-Palestine?
Reality. Now, what Zoran did so perfectly was to communicate his position in a way that liberals understand it. He turned around and said, yeah, Israel has a right to exist as a nation state that has equal rights and representation for all people. That is identifying that Israel is
Who cares about how Zoran messaged about Israel-Palestine? Right? Like, that's like again, he's running for mayor of New York City. It's a totally different election. This is not the issue to even talk about.
Has a Jewish ethno-state project, right?
Oh my God.
That is identifying that Israel has an exterminationist policy on the Palestinians.
Oh my God.
And incredibly repressive policies on
Is that true for Qatar too? Does Qatar have a right to exist only if everybody has equal rights for all religions? Is that true for Qatar?
I don't.
Or just Israel?
No, I don't care. I mean, yeah, okay. No nation state has a right to.
Thank you. Shut this guy down. Get him off stage. Oh my God, please, just make him leave. He has nothing relevant to say here.
He says, including Qatar. Like, I don't know why you're bringing up Qatar, like as though I'm going to be like, oh my God, Qatar. Like,
no,
they pay me so much money.
I just say I don't know why that's the only country that doesn't have a right to exist unless they get equal rights for everybody.
Well, because it's an ethno-state.
So are like half the states in the Middle East, you fucking retard. Not that you know fucking anything about them.
All of those countries in that region are an ethno state. No, if you can. Qatar's an ethno state, Iran's an ethno state, Jordan's an ethno state, Saudi's an ethno state. So I'm okay with criticizing Israel. I'm just saying,
so you're okay. So you're okay with all of these other countries being ethno states, then, and you're not.
That's the takeaway. That was the takeaway.
Just using that as a deflective mechanism to move the attention away from Israel, a country that literally receives more aid and more political support than from the United States of America than anyone else. As a matter of fact, a lot of people actually get mad about Qatar.
Pretty sure per capita, the Gaza Strip was getting, I think, more than almost any other region of the world, but...
Because now the Gulf leaders have realized, oh, if we give this guy fucking jets, he's going to defend us too. We're oil barons. It's awesome. And that's the reason why it almost feels like people who defend Israel are jealous that, like, now other Gulf nations are trying to do like Israel-style things over there.
Wait, what? Hold on.
We're oil barons. It's because now the Gulf leaders have realized, oh, if we give this guy fucking jets, he's going to defend us too. We're oil barons. It's awesome. And
oh, he's talking about that stupid Qatar deal where Trump like gave them basically NATO guarantee. But I don't even know if this matters. Like we would always defend. I think we would always defend these states. I don't think we would ever be okay with Iran doing shit to like severely fuck with any of these countries. Like they're always like, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And that's the reason why it almost feels like people who defend Israel are jealous that like now other Gulf nations are trying to do like Israel-style things over there.
I love it. Please bring us back.
All right. Anyway.
Yes, thank you. Yes. I mean, we kind of let Israel strike Qatar. Yeah, true. Israel just kind of like, they're just doing whatever, bro. Trump is just a fucking retard. I don't know what to say. You're right. You are right on that. They did. That's true.
Like Israel-style things over there.
I love it. Please bring us back.
All right.
Sorry. Anyway, my point was on message.
I would say this. Look,
he moderated the message without compromise.
I have disagreements with you on this, as you know. I will say that Zoran had a challenge, right? And part of his challenge was reassuring a lot of Jewish New Yorkers that are deeply worried about some of his past comments, and which he has, and he spent a lot of time trying to reassure those people. I think because he recognized that there was a liability in some of the ways in which his previous statements and some of his positions were seen by a lot of New Yorkers, which is where more Jews on earth live than in any other place than in Israel. I think
True. Yep, true. Make sure to agree with every single thing everybody says. Don't fight about anything on this. Don't fight back against anybody.
And he sought to address it. Now, without getting into the details of where
I think he had to do that because he's Muslim. I'm gonna be honest. I think it was racism, straight up. He had never said a single thing.
Hold on.
Than in any other place than in Israel. I think it was, and he sought to address it. Now, without getting into the details of where
I think he had to do that because he's Muslim. I'm gonna be honest. I think it was racism, straight up. He had never said a single thing.
Okay, I'm not trying to be oppositional just because it's Hasan. But I think that the feeling I had was most of the Islamophobic stuff was coming from Republicans. It wasn't necessarily in the primary from Cuomo as much, I don't think. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like I heard Cuomo making a lot of like, we're going to have a Muslim after 9/11. I feel like these were Republican attacks that were really weird from Trump and shit. I think Mamdani moderated not because of the Islamophobia, but because like, wait, did Cuomo do super racist ads? Oh, you'd have to show me. He might have, maybe, and I just missed it. But globalize the Intifada, that's a crazy statement. That's a crazy thing to defend. Like, he should have walked back from that. It was fucking retarded. Like, I think in almost every world, Mamdani would have to walk away from that if he wants to be mayor of New York City. But that's fine. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think he had to do that because he's Muslim. I'm gonna be honest. I think it was racism, straight up. He had never said a single thing that was even remotely anti-Semitic, and yet the media constantly kept needling him on that.
I don't agree with that, and I don't agree with that because it's honestly impossible to know because it's overdetermined, right? Do I think there's Islamophobia in the reaction to Zoran? Of course there is. Do I think there's genuine concerns about some of the things he said? Of course there is. You can't tease it out.
What was concerned?
Well, he got elected, so does that argument really matter? He is now the mayor-elect of New York City. So whatever he did worked.
So the reason I don't want to stay on it is because I think there's a lot we can say about it. But what I'm trying to say is he had people.
God damn. Okay, I didn't see this. Andrew Cuomo suggested Thursday that his main rival in the race for New York City mayor would cheer if the 9/11 attacks happened again. What the fuck? Who knows what sentence is behind this ad? I guess we'll never know. Wait. Can you imagine if Mom died? Oh my God. Hold on. Can you imagine Mamdani in the seat? Whew, got it before they covered us again. Thank God. Yeah, I could, replied WABC radio host Sid Rosenberg. Play the Jew sound. Who called the Democratic nominee a terrorist earlier in the program. He'd be cheering. That's another problem, Cuomo said. Not good.
People that were really glad to see someone who had taken his views run for mayor and succeed. He also had people he needed to reassure who had disagreement, but he recognized that he was in coalition with a lot of people who had different views, including he was asked about Abigail Spanberger and he was asked about Mikey Sherrill, and he said that this is a party that has room for everybody, not just people.
True, they were good statements. They were good statements by Mamdani. They were good statements. This is a party that has room for everybody to run a different, that was a good, yep.
Including he was asked about Abigail Spanberger and he was asked about Mikey Sherrill, and he said that this is a party that has room for everybody, not just people who look like me. And I think that to me is what
I hate Republicans. If you can unseat a Republican, it's good. It's good in my book. And that was my anger and resentment with like the way that the Democrats were representing themselves during the campaign, where it kind of felt like they didn't hate Republicans too much. Whenever I hear Nancy Pelosi say, "Oh, we need a strong Republican Party," I'm like, "No, we don't need a Republican Party."
You're so retarded. Oh my God, Pelosi is a trillion times smarter than Hasan on probably every single topic. Oh God, I hate this fucking retard so much. You do need a strong. You do need. We have a multi-party. We have a two-party system. You need a strong second party. If you think any differently, you're fucking retarded. You're just a retard. You don't even deserve to have an opinion on politics. Oh, well, to be fair, I guess he's in China and he likes their system, so maybe he doesn't think we should have a two-party system. Maybe he's a one-party kind of guy, you know?
We want to run this country.
Yeah, a weak Republican Party is what got us Donald Trump.
in every seat and strong Republican Party. I'm like, no, we don't need a Republican Party.
But
We
I
want
wanna
to
come
run
back
this
to-
country in every seat and be so successful that you have a weak and feckless and ineffective Republican Party that cannot undermine the agenda that centers the working class. That's what I
Oh my God. And the social. Oh my God. I hate this guy.
want. And so here's what I want to come back to. Talking about the overlap of the ways in which Zoran built a big enthusiastic base of support, talking about the ways in which Democrats have a void of people not really knowing what they stand for, which lets them be buffeted by issues where they're kind of, whether it's trans issues or other kind of issues where they feel like they're on their heels, and there's this debate about throwing people under the bus. What are the lessons that you think Democrats should be taking from the success on Tuesday?
Oh.
You know, Chuck Schumer was afraid to. So
Yeah.
This is now going to be the third time Chuck Schumer has been booed at a Democratic event I've been at in 48 hours. And
But he didn't do anything wrong. They'll hunt you. They'll sick the dogs on you. Schumer was our Dark Knight, okay?
All right, you ready? The former Republican's going to praise Chuck Schumer right now. The shutdown strategy's worked pretty good.
We're doing great on the
Everybody
shutdown.
giving him a little claps. Shutdown strategy turned out to work pretty good. Everybody's like, oh, Chuck.
Yeah,
Wait, did they even get to the Epstein stuff yet? I don't even know if they'd gotten to the Epstein stuff yet. This was 4 or 5 days ago. How long? My time thing is fucked. How long is this? This was before? No, it was before. This was like right after the election. It was before. Okay, this was before the Epstein stuff. Yeah, okay, so whoo!
We had to drag him to finally do that.
How nice, too, also, that when the Epstein stuff, all this stuff came out, we can also focus on it. And they can't divert with any government shutdown or anything like that either. Like, it's all just like, this is it. This is also what I meant. Now, unlike Hasan or all these other political pundits, I'll be honest, it's not like I can see the future, right? But this is one of the things that I said that was like a potential positive outcome to where if you end the shutdown when you're ahead, could you push it further and maybe gain more capital? Maybe. But also things could get worse. You could just stop when you're ahead. And they did stop, I would say, when they were ahead. And then now another positive things come out. And because they stopped when they were ahead, they had the positivity from that. And now we have the Epstein shit and then this Marjorie Taylor Greene shit. Like, just saying, this is one of the predictable or foreseeable positive outcomes. Just saying.
He had an opportunity to do
At
it
least
earlier.
he's there.
Yeah, no,
What is Jessica
Simone, you were going to leave the Democratic Party in March.
Well, you know, about every 6 months, I got to do a gut check. Every member of the 92%, that's how we sustain ourselves.
It's like renewing your vows.
Yeah,
But
very much so. Very happy to be with my husband.
So, Chuck Schumer is being afraid of Democrats being tied to Zoran.
Yes.
He is less afraid, it seems to me, about the young people and people that support Zoran not seeing Schumer on their side. And so, Jessica, how do Democrats confidently assert that we are a big tent that includes everyone from Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger and Tim Miller and Hasan and Zoran without...
Genuine question. I watch both of you, Hasan and Destiny. Why so much hate on him? He is so bad. Let him be and do your stuff. You are both on the same side. No, fight the MAGA. I don't know how you watch both of us. Why is he bad? I mean, Jesus. Like, where do you want me to start? On the social level, I think that he's bad because he blackballed me from everything that he could once he started to reach a level of networking clout. I think it's really bad that on a social level that he flipped all of like the kind of like Twitch IRL sphere that he associated with into his like really absurd and cringy political talking points. So you have people like Caroline Kwan saying that Palestinians, Christians, and Jews all live together happily in the year zero or whatever in fucking Israel or whatever. On a political level, I think he's bad because he doesn't support the party. I don't think that you could take anybody seriously who in 2024 wasn't emphatically telling you that you need to vote for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. It's an existential issue for the United States, and you're crazy if you don't support the candidate. Hasan didn't. I think that politically, I think that he sees himself and his movement as like a leech or a cancer in the Democratic Party. They don't try to flip purple districts. They don't try to go into red territories and win elections. Instead, they go to the deepest, bluest parts they can, and they try to flip seats to their extremist political project with the goal of undermining and redoing the entire Democratic Party. So you'll see them saying that the Democrats need to push their messaging even further to the left or even further in a destructive way in these super 40 plus 40 blue areas when like we're barely struggling to maintain, you know, like any control whatsoever in the Senate or House. He's constantly saying things that are alluding to or just outright saying that the Democrats and the Republicans are the exact same, that it doesn't matter who you vote for one or the other. He said multiple times that things would be the same under Kamala as they would be under Donald Trump. in terms of like research or political positions. He does no homework or research in any things he talks about. The fact that this guy was talking about Israel-Palestine for 2 years, and then he just found out a month ago what the fuck the Western Wall was. I don't even know how that's possible, that you could have covered this and not just learned this peripherally, is fucking crazy to me. In terms of like a personal biographical thing, I don't like that he misrepresents his past. He lies about the absurd wealth that his family has. He lies about his background as a working class person. He was ultra privileged his entire life. His mom was brought to the U.S. to birth him here to get dual citizenship. Then he went back to Turkey, and as a top 0.001% family member, attended school there and then came back to the U.S. on his parents' dime, and then was nepoed into the largest left-leaning alternative media channel on the planet in order to start his career in politics there, and climbed his way. Like, I basically every single part about it. He looks good. He's handsome. I'll say that. I almost hate every single thing about this motherfucker. Okay, that's what I would say.
Without ignoring the genuine and real politics of moderates not wanting to be tagged as New York or San Francisco socialists, which is real and we can't ignore.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I just want to say, since I've been looking and reading Are We Having Fun Yet? The last 10 minutes were the opposite of fun. And I think that, no, but it's important for our electoral strategy, because that fight is the opposite of fun. It doesn't mean that it shouldn't happen, but when you are the party that is being represented by that kind of screaming back and forth versus saying the stuff that we agree upon, that we're like, all of the candidates that won were affordability candidates. It sounded different out of Abigail Spanberger's mouth and what she was talking about than out of Zoran's mouth, but we all got to the place where they thought the Democrats want us to have more housing and more money in our pockets, and the Republicans have been dicking us over with their policies. And so that's where we have to be. I was so excited by Zoran's campaign in that it finally felt to me like there was some Obama energy back. And as an elder millennial who spends a lot of time with Gen Zs, I'm sad for them that they don't know what hope and change felt like. They don't know, what it meant to watch him from the DNC convention through, when he left. Tim's like, it was terrible. But
it was fun. He was good. I got some goosebumps every now and then.
No, I hated the DNC for sure. Like, I'll stand on that.
Yeah, but
we know.
People finding community, people combating loneliness, people having shared purpose, getting outside, touching grass, all of that. That's what politics means to me. And you want a great policy agenda, of course, but you really want to feel common cause with people. And you can have disagreements about, various issues. But that is the path forward for me. And that's not going to come from Chuck Schumer. I think Chuck Schumer is, past his sell-by date in terms of leading the party this way. But Chuck Schumer, I think that he was right to recruit Roy Cooper and Sherrod Brown to be running for those Senate seats. And I hope that they're going to win. And I feel good about that. And I think that, his Mamdani stuff is about himself. And he's, he voted in the election. He's a Jewish New Yorker in Brooklyn there. And Mamdani got 30% of the Jewish vote, which is very low. He has work to do with the community. I hope that he will do that work. But I don't think focusing on Chuck Schumer is the answer to it. It's the energy, and that there was energy across New Jersey, and there's energy in Virginia, and there's energy in New York. And that's the kind of organizing. It's not, big Democratic energy. It's individual candidates that have this affordability message and are communicating as a naval pilot, as a CIA officer, or a community organizer.
And the key for everybody. So Trump is also now giving us a pretty big opportunity. On the one hand, he's been going after comedians, and he's trying to get Kimmel canceled. He's angry about Seth Meyers every other day. He's tearing down parts of the White House, which was a strange choice, which I tried to walk to see it, and they built giant walls so that we don't see the construction site. And Trump is not doing as many rallies as he used to do. He's really kind of ensconced now in Mar-a-Lago, in the White House, at his Great Gatsby parties. He's tweeting out photos of marble bathrooms. Even some of his top staff now are living on military bases. They've isolated themselves in a lot of ways. Like, do we now have the opportunity to say, hey, they're the hall monitors and out-of-touch scolds. We're the ones that actually understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And is there a way? Is there a way to have a unifying agenda that does what Hasan is talking about, but is one that is appealing to maybe not every single most centrist Democrat, but a broad enough and big enough?
Hassan is Asmongold. He cannot debate people. He can only react to people's opinions of pointless word salad. I disagree, unfortunately. Asmongold is just way more coherent in terms of what he talks about, but that's because Asmongold's mind slop is tracking the current popular movement in the United States, which is MAGA. And Asmongold tracks that sentiment very closely. Hasan is a different apolitical group that likes social capital online, that likes Instagram posts and buys cringy fucking merch of a just that, yeah. It's a different type of thing. If you go to Twitch and if you were a person who was just printed out into the world as an NPC, and then you've got a brain, you want to process information, and you would go to Twitch and you were to look and see, okay, who represents or talks about the struggles or the plight of the average American better and seems to trace these struggles better and gives me a better take on things. And you had to watch Asmongold for 5 hours. You had to watch Hasan for 5 hours. Well, on Asmongold, he's going to talk about a lot of the struggles, true or imagined, that Republicans are trying to make you feel every day, that immigrants are stealing shit from you, that we need law and order, that Trump is here, and he's trying to do what needs to be done in order to make you feel safe and secure, and Epstein and all these pedophiles, and he's not even 100% going to agree with Trump all the time, and he'll even say things like the rich need to be taxed, and we need health care and stuff. And then you look at Hasan, who is, doing these fucking gay dances in China, getting paid to do actual fucking propaganda. This guy who is having Austin lube up his fucking Mao dildo every night to fuck himself in his $40,000 a night People's Republic of China provided suite. What is the comparison? Like you're getting pulled into the Asmongold camp every single time. It's not even close. And it's so sad to even say this because Asmongold is a fucking retard, but he makes Hasan look like a retard. It's like, it's unbelievable. I don't know. It's crazy.
Agenda that would unite, that you would like, and Tim would like, and Jessica would like, that we can get behind.
Like Asmongold is the kind of guy that you would call retarded your whole life, and then you would meet somebody like Hasan, and then you'd be like, fuck, I need a different word for Asmongold. I don't know if retarded fits, because now that I've met Hasan, it's not the same thing. It's just like not even close.
And big enough agenda that would unite, that you would like, and Tim would like, and Jessica agenda that does what Hasan is talking about, but is one that is appealing to maybe not every single.
And to on this too, and this isn't really as fair because fuck both these guys actually. Asmongold even tracks better probably with the average person in terms of aesthetic than Hasan does. He doesn't have like the actual cockroaches and shit anymore living in his fucking home. That was probably a bridge too far. But if you look at like the average, especially young person on Twitch, especially young man on Twitch, well, we can go and we can watch Asmongold, who plays video games, sits in his house all day, just kind of balding, is like normal average person or whatever. He seems pretty average in terms of everything that he does. Like you relate way more to him than Hasan, who's in his 70th designer outfit, with his 4th famous girlfriend on his 12th internationally sponsored trip, taking a vacation from his $4 million West Hollywood home, that he took a $250,000 car to the airport in to take first class. Like it's not even close. Like Asmongold is infinitely more relatable in that sense than Hasan, who's like just totally out there in Utopiasville.
Understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And is there a way, is there a way to have a unifying agenda that does what Hasan is talking about, but is one that is appealing to maybe not every single most centrist Democrat, but a broad enough and big enough agenda that would unite, that you would like, and Tim would like, and Jessica would like, that we can get behind?
I just come at this from as a former strategist. I was a comms person for most of my career, and I did campaigns from state legislative races to judges races to presidentials. Yes, I worked in the White House. I don't know if you'd agree with me here, Tim, but I think that the answer is not, okay, just these 5 things and then da-da-da. I think the answer is about the strategy. And what things you put under your strategy depends on what candidate you are and where you are running. Because coming up in 2026, there are gubernatorial races, there are state legislative races. Like 2026 and frankly 2027 are really about 2028 and then 2030. And you have to win state legislative seats. You have to win the governor's races, but you also, you should want to take back the House and the Senate. Okay, and how do you do that? It is not by saying, we only do these 5 things right here. No, it is about what is the strategy. And the strategy does have to be touch grass, talk to people. You need to understand your constituents and your community. So whether it's Abigail Spanberger, Mikey Sherrill, or Zora Mandami, the thing, to Jessica's point, that they all did well is they understood what the people wanted. Affordability in Jersey and Virginia also meant energy. Energy prices are way up. One of the things that Mikey Sherrill said that people got behind is that she wanted to declare a state of emergency on energy on day 1. And that is what she plans to do. I talked to the folks whose job it was to go out there and organize African-American voters in New Jersey. And they said for the black voters in New Jersey.
The whole panel is Hasan chomping at the bit to get a word in edgewise. It's so mask on fake interesting. Well, the problem is that these people, again, they're all talking like electoral issues, and Hasan doesn't care about, he doesn't do politics. He does pop politics at best. It's grievance stuff. It's social capital. It's influencer stuff. That's it. Like these people, how do you win elections? Hasan doesn't care about winning elections. Hasan likes to lose elections because then he can just complain about everything,
To the folks whose job it was to go out there and organize African-American voters in New Jersey. And they said for the black voters in New Jersey that they talked to, for them, it was bigger than Mikey Sherrill. They were dealing with all of these issues that they listed that had to do with affordability and whatnot. And they felt like what was happening in the other states and places in this country, voting for Mikey Sherrill was going to keep that from happening because Jack Ciattarelli was very much so aligned with Donald Trump. So I think that you have to just stay close to the issues and the races. But
he has a misbehaving spoiled dog. Oh, more people have cockroaches in their house than there are people who shock their dogs. That's true. And it's also kind of funny because, like, in a way, like Hasan bought that dog as a prop, but he doesn't even use it correctly as a prop, really. Like, I'm curious. I guess I've never seen him like flirt with women before or whatever, but like the whole point of a dog or an animal is to like, if you're using it as like a tool, is to like humanize you. Meaning you want like a cat or a dog that's like jumping on you and giving you kisses and you're hugging it and you're showing like your feminine soft side and you're emotional. You've got like this thing that loves you. Like that's the whole point. To buy a dog and then to stick it in the corner as a fucking prop, you're not even like using it correctly. And even when he walks around with his dog, like, he looks like he fucking hates it. Like it's, I don't know, man. Jesus Christ.
Jack Ciattarelli was very much so aligned with Donald Trump. So I think that you have to just stay close to the issues and the races. But the answer is not the party apparatus says this is, the answer is not those posse papers that these people keep putting out. That's not the answer from my perspective, because that's not how you win races by campaigning. And you go out there and you talk to people and you earn their votes. You do not win a race by a policy paper. And I just think that there's all this focus on how can we align on these 5 issues and not a focus on, well, what is our strategy? Is our strategy staying close to the people? It's why Democrats, the shutdown fight, it is terrible for people in this country who work in the federal government. That is absolutely terrible. What the Democrats are doing is at the end of the day is going to benefit all of those people because they are fighting, but they settled on a strategy.
And isn't this a good example though? This shutdown, exactly what we're talking about, which is Democrats chose an issue. I was skeptical. I was skeptical of every choice. To be honest, I didn't think there was a good option for Democrats. We're not playing with the best hand, but we chose healthcare. We chose it, and we said we're going to take this to its logical conclusion, and it works better than anyone I think really predicted.
But can I just know they didn't just?
And hopefully it continues. Like the fact that so much of the shutdown was focused on healthcare means that hopefully we can bring it back. And just like there is a world forward for wherever this country ends up, because every fucking day, who the fuck knows? Jesus Christ. But like premiums go up, which they will as that tax credit expires. And then in December, we're supposed to force a vote. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't do it. I think if they do or don't, I think either way can play well for Democrats. And then in January, we have another shutdown thing coming up. Like as those premiums are up for a month or two, coming into midterms, this is the Affordable Care Act. I think, don't listen to me here. I would have to focus group it. Actually, I don't trust my instincts on this. I almost say they should call it Obamacare. And if the Republicans vote to save it, they shouldn't be forced to vote to save the ACA. They should be forced to save Obamacare. That's what they should call it exclusively, Obamacare. Just to fucking nail it in that this is a Democrat-led thing. But maybe that's too divisive. I'm not sure. But the fact that hopefully the conversation can stay centered on that topic moving into the future as the ACA vote is forced next month, as the premiums rise over the next 2 months, and then as the shutdown vote hopefully again comes up in January.
Choose healthcare. They chose a very specific thing that was happening in Congress that was tangible, that connected to people's everyday lives that they could see. And so when I say we don't need to choose all like that was a strategy.
Exactly. No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I just we're getting. I think I was having fun by the way. We could do a whole nother hour.
Yeah, and I think the disagreement. I think the disagreement is necessary.
I also would say I'm also like I'm pretty easy to please. I mean like Zoran had me. Like I don't know what more you people want from me. I voted for 3 straight Democratic presidents, and I was going to vote for Zoran for mayor. So I'm pretty easy to please. So you can get me on board. Here's what you have to do. We'll get this. Some specific things. Have some fucking balls. Like run a fucking campaign. Tell us what your campaign is about. Don't be a fascist and be able to talk.
This is why I liked, and I'll say this in the end of time. This is why I liked Newsom so much. He had balls on that, Prop 50 or whatever. That was a brave thing. Didn't pull 34% when he proposed it. This is an aggressive Democratic action that Democrats generally don't do. Like that was a nightmare. When Texas came out, when Congress came out and basically handed Texas or the Supreme Court, I think it was through Bondi, basically said, Texas, by the way, you can wipe away 5 Democratic districts. For Newsom to come out and be like, we're going to do the same here. That was just so brave. And he stood on business on that, and he won it too. Good for him.
Be able to talk and be able to communicate to people and lift them up. And like that seems like that isn't that hard, but it's kind of been for us for the last 10 years. But like that's how I would summarize it.
I do think so. We're coming from behind in part because I think we've paid for having, like if you were someone coming up in politics and you see who the standard bearers of our party have been for the last 10 years, you might not know exactly that Democrats used to be fun and cool.
Right.
So we have 1 minute left. Hasan, final thought.
We got to get rid of the gerontocracy within
it's so hard to tell what the universe could look like otherwise too. But there's also like this weird world where they say the Democrats used to be fun and cool. I wonder to some extent if Obama being black took away from that a little bit, because when you're in a leadership position like that and you are black, you have to be so fucking professional and on board with everything that you might not have the same wiggle room to like be a little bit more chill, be a little bit more like you have to be speaking for like the coolest Obama thing is like, the guy loosens his tie a bit or whatever. Whereas Bill Clinton is obviously getting sucked off in the Oval Office. Not many people like that. Playing the saxophone, doing crazy shit. Like I wonder if he had less wiggle room there. Maybe.
Party. Down with the seniority structure that we have. We need real whips in the party. This is something that I talk to you about. This is something that I talk to the Pod Johns about every single time. If you have people who don't want to play ball.
What kind of whips?
I think people did find Obama fun and cool though. He was like cool, but not like, oh, that's a really cool dude. He was just like, it's different. I don't know how to. He wasn't this, okay? I don't know why I just typed that. Obama on saxophone. You couldn't do this, okay? There's a reason why Rush Limbaugh said that Bill Clinton was the first black president, okay?
Like, you know.
I don't.
Not like whipping votes. I don't mean it in the unless it's Joe Manchin, in which case, maybe. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I can't use spicy language. We need
cool politics, and you see who the standard bearers of our party have been for the last 10 years. You might not know exactly the Democrats used to be fun and cool.
Right.
So we have 1 minute left. Hasan, final thought.
Yeah, we got to get rid of the gerontocracy within the party. Down with the seniority structure that we have. We need real whips in the party. This is something that I talk to you about. This is something that
What, Pelosi wasn't a good whip for votes?
I talk to the Pod Johns about every single time. If you have people who don't want to play ball.
What kind of whips?
Like, you know.
I don't.
Not like whipping votes. I don't mean it in the unless it's Joe Manchin, in which case, maybe. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I can't use spicy language here, but we need to make sure that we earn the trust of the working class back, and I think that they have been hyper-focused.
So listen, I understand there's room for disagreement on this. So you just said, nah, my dad was a diehard Republican and admitted that Obama was the coolest president he's ever seen. I understand what you're saying, but I need you to understand that what I'm saying is not at all different than what you're saying. That when I say, because Obama was black, he had to be relatively straight and square to make that work. And that for your dad to say, actually, my dad thought Obama was really cool, that's the same thing. That's the same thing as what I'm saying, okay?
Focused. We need to make sure that we earn the trust of the working class back, and I think that they have been hyper-focused on culture war narrative.
Like, there's a reason why this joke worked. Oh my God, I'm so glad I just remembered this. I'm so fucking smart. There's a reason why, I fucked this up. Why this joke worked, and it was because Obama was so reserved and so formal and so cordial all the time.
Y'all remember when I had that big old hole in the bottom of the
That there was the, for anybody that watched this, he's anger translator for all this, right?
Narratives, and the only reason why they've been hyper-focused on culture war narratives is because we have not done enough on the left flank to say, no, we are with you, we will fight for you, we're going to make sure that we solve your economic hardships.
And Jessica, you're just going to go back in there and you're going to fight all these people and you're going to defeat them for us.
Yeah, no.
You got this, girl.
But agree with all of what was just said as the kind of final wrap-up stuff. But, this idea you need to be able to talk. You need to be able to talk where I talk. You don't need to be able to talk for 3 hours with people who agree with you. It's easy. I launched a podcast last year like everybody else. I can get anyone who's going to be running for president to come on my pod. They're dying to do it. The tougher conversations are the ones that we need to be having, because that's how you can get in people's faces and say, that isn't what my party stands for. We're not a communist party. We're not a socialist party. We're a Big Tent party. Sorry.
We're a Big Tent. That includes some socialism.
Yeah, a democratic socialist is not a socialist. They use these words interchangeably.
Hasan was pro-USSR earlier this week.
We're wrapping it up. We're ending on a high note.
Oh, he didn't even know Hasan was going to be glazing fucking Mao in China 4 days later.
Are we having fun?
3 days
Are we
later.
having fun? All right. And I do think, by the way, I hear, look, what's great about being part of a big coalition is being comfortable with the moments of tension and discomfort and disagreement, because Republicans can't, you're right, they've been a little less scoldy, but they also are running to squash dissent because they're not comfortable with discomfort. They're trying to tell people that politics...
Someone on YouTube chat said, back when you could write jokes and not monkey paw, some new reality timeline. True.
It's easy, and there's never any time where you need to feel conflicted or bad or that anything is hard. That's a kind of part of the appeal of fascism. Democratic politics can be tough. Democracy can be tough. But we are part of a big coalition, and I just think we can all have fun together. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming to this. And thank you to Jessica Tarlow, Tim Miller, Hasan Piker, and Simone Sanders. Yeah.
He was glazing the US sure. Somebody said,
Oh,
how cool was this?
Oh, before I finish my thought, let me just point out it's now P.O.
Well, you're quick.
To P.O.T.U.,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah, we're...
Okay. All right.
Well, it's got to be a quick comeback because... Oh, my goodness.
Come on. Now, don't tighten up playing against the president.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's...
Uh-oh.
Okay, that was cool, but nothing was as cool. This is the best.
She's
Okay. My queen, our actual queen, all right?
about 6 feet past the three-point line, and she just does this.
I wasn't even thinking get it in because I was so sort of demoralized this one. And, you know, nothing but net. Just swish.
24-26, take full B count up. Action.
The hell are you?
It's too bad the movie itself was fucking awful. True, this movie is fucking dog shit.
Trick, and it wasn't. I was there. She did it. She would have won the $1 million at halftime at the All-Star break.
Now watch this drive. Biggest political... Yeah. Best president sport.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive. All right, you need another.
What is this?
No streamer awards noms, Sag. I mean, yeah, we weren't going to win anything. Let's be real.
Aw.
12K.
Oh, no.
How was the podcast? It was amazing. It's probably the best podcast we've ever, probably one of the better podcast episodes we've done.
Oh, my God. In China?
No nomination. Who cares, lol? Yeah, I know.
Was George Bush really seen as stupid at the time? For you younger guys, I know that it's hard to imagine. But yes, they literally published books on how stupid George Bush was. They were called Bushisms. And there were literally books written about how silly and dumb he was. They misunderestimated me. Here are over 100 memorable misstatements by our syntactically challenged president, collected, annotated, and introduced by Slate Magazine's Jacob Weisberg. I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully. Families is where our nation finds hope, where wings take dream. We'll let our friends be the peacekeepers, and the great country called America will be the pacemakers. It's clearly a budget. It's got a lot of numbers in it. I know how hard it is for you to put food on your family. I do know I'm ready for the job, and if not, that's just the way it goes. Where's the
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, anyway. 75.
He's old, guys.
Nation who cares, lol? Yeah, I know. It's funny because it's like, this has been...
Wait, what is this? Dick Cheney ends John Edwards at VP debate. It's crazy how much our politics have changed.
Senator, frankly, you have
in 20 years. It's not like less in my lifetime. What happened?
Senator, frankly, you have a record in the Senate that's not very distinguished. You've missed 33 out of 36 meetings of the Judiciary Committee, almost 70% of the meetings of the Intelligence Committee. You've missed a lot of key votes on tax policy, on energy, on Medicare reform. Your hometown newspaper has taken to calling you Senator Gone. You've got one of the worst attendance records in the United States Senate. Now, in my capacity as Vice President, I am the President of the Senate, the presiding officer. I'm up in the Senate most Tuesdays when they're in session. The first time I ever met you was when you walked on the stage tonight. Senator.
God damn! I don't think I've ever seen this before. Jesus. Christ. Read the question in the video graphic.
Senator Frank.
What would a Kerry administration do to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? Oh, nice. Because it's 2004. This is like you're coming off the end of, well, they didn't know it was going to be on there, but you'd have 4 years of the Second Intifada, which is where terrorist attacks and shit was happening all over Israel. Shit was blowing up everywhere. It was fucked. Not good. Not good.
Relatively tumultuous because it's like, this has been a relatively tumultuous year.
Yeah.
But it's also been probably the most effective in my career. Did you just wake up? Yeah. I have found myself growing further and further away from the Twitch audience. Or not Twitch audience.
Shut up. Should I ban Jader for 3 days? Or make it so he can't have any input on any movies? There's no way this is real. Frogan is not nominated again for the Rising Star Award, right? This is a troll, right? Are these things all public? Streamer Awards nominations. It's faked. You motherfucker. Jader. You piece of shit. Wait. Rising Star Award. Reginald? What happened? Oh, okay, never mind. Not TSM Reginald. Okay. I was going to say, okay, never mind. Different thing. Different time. Don't worry about it, kids.
It's necessarily, but just like Twitch streaming and the audiences that exist on Twitch.
He's so scared. Will he even say Asmon's name? He's actually such a pussy. I can't believe this is who the left has fighting for them. Not my left. He'll say it. He must say it. He must say it. Does he ever bring up Asmon on stream? I can't believe he's such a fucking pussy. He'll say it. I'm sorry. I'm being unfair. He will say his name.
And I feel like I've been the most impactful I've been in my career. The more like mainstream recognition I receive as a political commentator, the more angry and resentful other political commentary adjacent people get, and the more they fucking do smear campaigns, and the more.
There's no shot that when he shares a platform with the largest content creator in the world, who is 100% lockstep basically with the Trump admin, that he's about to call out me and Dan. I'm not even on his platform anymore. There's no shot that he's about to say my fucking name.
Separated and connected, I feel, from the Twitch community. No one got nominated who does political content, so it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, except
I think there was a
XQC,
cut.
who literally live streamed with the president, with the current president.
He brings up XQC.
But I guess he's not considered a political streamer because he's XQC.
Who are the ones that really piss you off?
And Aiden Ross on Kick.
Oh. Hello?
I don't think AT&T has an issue with XQC in the same way that they have an issue with me.
Oh.
You didn't have a
Hello?
whole live stream with Trump like Aiden Ross did. Maybe top influencers in the rep beyond vote. And Aiden Ross has so many streams with Nick Fuentes, who's an actual Nazi and anti-America. Yeah, I mean XQC.
Hello? I feel like I feel like I'm watching.
Okay, so this is embarrassing, but just for the record, and
I feel like
just
I'm
so we
watching
have
this
it,
scene right now.
You are not and have never been a member of the Nazi Party of the United States, have you? Come on, Tom, are you serious? Nope. Thank you. Sorry to have to even ask. And oh yes, the Hitler dog thing. Okay, the dog thing's bullshit. Great, I thought so. Different spelling. Okay, different spelling. Yeah. Okay, and this other one that came up, just to fend this off. Have you ever read Mein Kampf? Yeah, a couple times, I guess. Couple times? Are there Easter eggs in there you didn't get the first time? Look, I'm interested in that period of history, Tom, okay? I've skimmed it. Skimmed, yeah, thank you. And what specifically do you find interesting about that period of history? The scale, the tragedy. Hell yeah. Yeah, and which tragedies specifically? Europe decimated. 7 million Germans, 20 million Russians, 5 million Poles. Yeah. Just checking the till here, Mark, and it seems you're short a few million.
XQC literally streamed with Donald Trump. And I don't think AT&T has any problems with XQC. AT&T literally blacklisted me. AT&T likes XQC. He streamed with Donald Trump. That in and of itself is a perfect example of this.
Where is this from a stream today? Or was it from a few hours ago, I'm guessing? Also, listen, I'm the #1 Trump hater in the universe, okay? Way more than fucking this loser hates Trump. But just because you supported Donald Trump, or just because you streamed with Donald Trump, is not enough to get you blacklisted from events. Donald Trump is supported by half the country. Is that what you expect? Like, you're literally openly in support of terrorists and terrorism and terrorist groups and attacks. Like, why would you expect these things to be treated the same?
They're just saying like, oh, probably one of the better podcast episodes we've done. It's funny because it's like,
there's no way that he never
that
he never brings up Asmongold. He must. Seriously, I'm not just saying this like, oh, I'm sure. Like, he must bring up Asmongold, and I just don't get linked it, or it just doesn't show up anywhere, right?
A relatively tumultuous year, but it's also been probably the most effective in my career.
Like, this year on Twitch, Asmongold went from. No, he was doing politics in the end of last year, but this has definitely been the big. I think this year was the huge explosion of Asmongold into politics. He definitely at the end of last year for sure, middle of last year, end of last year for sure, but like this year especially, holy shit.
If you just wake up, yeah. I found myself growing further and further away from the Twitch audience, or not Twitch audience necessarily, but just like Twitch streaming and the audiences that exist on Twitch. And I feel like I've been the most impactful I've been in my career. The more like mainstream recognition I receive.
That's also so cringe that he measures his impactfulness by like what his PR firm gets him interviews with. Like, that has any staying power or matters that much. Because he's just not capable of converting any of these things into other appearances because he's so boring. Like, we just watched him on that panel. Like, if he truly felt strongly about his ideas, like, what an opportunity to make a splash. Like, you disagreed, at least on his stream, you would disagree with so many. How are you on a panel with Tim Miller, who is, I think, an ex-Republican, right? Tim Miller was a Republican. How are you on stage with this guy and you're not disagreeing on anything at all? Well, Tim Miller is like the ultimate cuck-centrist, probably Maybe my guess is more right-leaning than I am. How are you silent?
As a political commentator, the more angry and resentful other political commentary adjacent people get, and the more they fucking do smear campaigns, and the more separated and connected I feel from the Twitch community. You look, Tar brother, are you okay? I mean, it's 6:42. I actually slept a decent amount. I woke up at 4 a.m., but I slept a decent amount. And yeah. Moved to our city and stream on YouTube. Problem solved, big bro.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I slept a city and stream on YouTube. Problem solved, big bro. And yeah. Moved to our city and stream on YouTube. Problem solved, big bro.
Mooney and City stream. What the fuck are they saying? Fuck.
Bro. And yeah. Moved to New York City and stream on YouTube.
Moved to New York City. Oh, okay, gotcha. To be near Mamdani.
I'm solved, big bro. Okay. No one got nominated who does political content, so it is what it is? Yeah.
The fact that he can't dual stream on YouTube because he thinks it takes away from his Twitch number is just such a mistake. Like, little bro, I know you listen to every single fucking word I say because you follow all my lore and everything somehow. You got, like, the best piece of career advice for you, bro. You have to dual stream. I can't believe you're not streaming on YouTube. So fucking stupid.
Yeah, except XQC, who literally live streamed with the president, with the current president. But I guess he's not considered a political streamer. Will you keep streaming on BDB after you get back to the States? Yeah, we're gonna figure some stuff out for that. Yeah. Or we've fallen off. I don't know. I mean, it could be that. I think that's probably what it is. Yeah, we've officially fallen off. Bro, Fortnite has a kick skin. We live in hell. Yeah, well, you have to remember. This is something that I've brought up quite a bit, which is you can't really fight money. There's not really much you can do.
You're rich. What are you bro, you are the money. You have the support of, you're in so many mainstream media publications. You can't fight the money. The Western Hollywood, Turkish American dual citizen, raised and gone to private school, equestrian, horseback training, riding in fucking Turkey, and then to the United States of America as one of the largest political streamers there, currently in a $40,000 a night suite in China, in Shanghai, or wherever the fuck it is right now. You just can't fight the money, bros.
What the fuck? What is happening? I guess it's on auto white balance, but it's just so fucking... No, that's not good. We got normie podcasters in Finland talking about you, bro. No way you've fallen off. Chatters, I was joking. I wasn't being serious. So much lighting? Yeah. Anyway. At least my Go Connery's Pants was nominated. But that shit gets clipped and people take it seriously. Remember that? I know. I don't really care. What am I supposed to do, guys? Yes. I mean, I should be able to be sarcastic at 6 a.m. in China without a million autists coming up my asshole and clipping something out of context to post it on Reddit. You know what I mean? And at a certain point, you just have to live with it.
Out of context. Out of
Are you
context.
going to vote, though, today?
Out of context.
Sure.
Out of context.
Maybe.
Out of context.
Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, Chongqing. So, illegal voting from China. Yeah.
The issue is a lack of self-awareness. I super disagree. Hasan is very self-aware. There are some like narcissistic people. I don't think Hasan is, I don't know if I would put him as like a narcissist, but there are some people who lack self-awareness. Like this would be people like Elon Musk totally lack self-awareness. Hasan is very self-aware and very shy or lacking confidence in things that he's like very aware about.
I can't.
7 minutes, guys.
Percentage points, and it looks like the Democratic candidate.
How are you not a cap?
He's even eating in his hotel. I'm sorry.
Capital owner, your Twitch channel, YouTube channel, merchandise lines, and intellectual property all constitute capital that generates ongoing income?
Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. You're so dumb, bro. Capital's when you own the means of production. Having $50 million in cash, that's not capital, bro. Oh my God.
Really? So if I were to stop streaming, I could engage in the act of capital accumulation?
Yes, by spending your fucking money, you retarded fuck. How do you think people buy businesses? Yes. Or just literally put it in the stock market, which is capital. Yes. Wait, I'm sorry. What are you implying? That if you stop streaming, you'd go hungry?
How would that work?
Well, you would take your money, you would open a Vanguard account or a Fidelity account or any of the other billion fucking online trader things, and then you would buy mutual funds, stocks, bonds, ETFs, and then you would watch your money grow, or you would get paid dividends, and you wouldn't have to work anymore. Although his parents are rich, so he would never have to do that anyway.
Like, at the end of the day, the overwhelming majority of my revenue comes from, if not the damn near entirety of my revenue actually comes from, voluntary subscriptions to the Piker Broadcasting Service.
Why? Where's your money at? What have you done with the millions and millions of dollars that you have?
Now, obviously, we don't have the same assembly line structure that
He's lying. That's a lie, by the way.
used to exist that made the class boundary better defined. We do live in a world of finance capital. There's global domination there. But
he doesn't invest his money? Shut the fuck up. That's a fucking lie. He just says that for some purity bullshit. Absolutely. His money is sitting in some investment account somewhere. He's got a wealth management group.
How would that work if I were to stop making content? You know, being on stream. How would capital accumulation work of that sort?
He's so fucking retarded. God, and his audience is so fucking retarded. Like, you have money, bro. What do you think money's... My God.
Stock accumulation work of that sort. Am I a stock? It would only work if I had someone else that would take my place, and I would basically hire them to do what I'm doing, and then take a cut.
Oh, capital is only when I hire somebody to do my own job, and there's no other kind of capital.
Or rather,
or no businesses.
Engage in the
exploitation of their labor. Say that. Oh God, I'm about to come. Oh my God, I'm about to come. Oh my God, I'm about to come. Oh my God. Say the exploitation of labor, please, God.
Engage in the act of
please
generating profits.
Oh fuck. That's what generating profits is. But
your YouTube videos and Twitch vlogs will keep earning ad revenue for a while.
It was the equivalent. Trust me, guys.
Wait, what? What you're describing is not capital. That isn't capital. But it doesn't even matter. You think it's the case because you're wrong, or maybe you have a disagreement with me. I think it's because you're wrong, but who cares? Because the reality of the matter is, even if I was, okay, even if I was, that would at most make me a class trader.
Bro, you're in fucking $10,000 a night. First class tickets to China, touring a state government propaganda. What are you doing? Oh my God.
Okay, even if I was, that would at most make me a class trader. All pure actually capital, you know that? No. At most, you could say that I have a practice where I contract or have people that work with me, work alongside me. This is true, okay? That's not.
It's not true unless they have equity in all the businesses that you work in. Otherwise, you are engaged in the same type of labor exploitation that every capitalist is. So if you pay a channel owner, if you pay anybody else, that is labor exploitation. Unless they literally have ownership. It's not called the workers will seize the dividends of production. It's not called the workers will seize the profits of production. It's not called the workers will achieve a rev split from production. It is the workers will own the means. They will own the means. Equity ownership. Paying a good wage to the people that are wage slaves for you does not make them not wage slaves. You were very stringent about drawing that distinction earlier when you were saying your money is not capital. Well, a contractor is not an equity partner in something.
Wrong. But capital accumulation is not what I am doing.
You're literally accumulating capital by accumulating money that is going to an investment account. That's definitionally capital accumulation. Like, what do you think it is? What do you call that money?
Capital accumulation is when you don't actually work, and instead, your capital is what's working for you. Your money is what's working for you. If I were to take...
Oh, so then Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, these guys aren't capital people because they are also CEOs? Because they're still working then?
The earnings from what I've done here and dump it into the stock market or purchase real estate.
Like your mom?
And become a landlord. That is when I would become a capital owning, a part of the capital owning class. You can't just say, oh, all three are actually capital and you know that and move on. That's not how that works. Because at the end of the day, if I did not labor in some sort, and you could say it's not productive labor because it's true, it's not. But at the end of the day, if I were to stop doing this,
productive labor?
then there's no more revenue.
Oh, he would just be broke. He'd have no more. He's not invested. None of his money it's just all in his mattress.
You're just trying to fit it into a
capitalist,
very narrowly focused argument because I think you're just too predisposed with trying to get an own over me. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the situation.
Mm-hmm.
From my assessment, and people might even disagree with me, I think in this day and age, because of the heavily financialized structure that exists with finance capital, that I like my standard for it, and it's not like a black or white standard, but my standard is if the majority of your revenue generation is coming from actually your wage labor, if the overwhelming majority of your revenue is coming from your actual wage labor, whether you are a contractor, whether you're a part of the gig.
Your revenue? That would mean by that definition, then Elon Musk is for sure a wage slave. Because my understanding is the vast majority of his wealth is tied up in the appreciation of his stocks. I don't think he's getting paid huge fucking dividends. And I'm pretty sure, didn't he just negotiate with Tesla? It was a massive payout structure. Pay, that's wages, right? I don't know. Maybe they have some extraordinary deal. I don't know the tax structure of how a fucking multi-trillionaire dude gets fucking paid. But like, it sounds like from Hasan's definition, Elon Musk is working for that money. Elon Musk is a wage slave.
Economy, doesn't matter whether you are doing what I'm doing. In that circumstance, even if you do have, like a 401k, for example, because I do, right? Because I want to be able to retire one day.
Oh my God. You don't have $5 million? You don't have $10 million? I know he must have at least 10 million. Maybe not just because he spent so much of his fucking money. You can't retire? I want to retire one day? How do these fucking losers listen to this guy? Oh my God. Also, how are you going to retire unless you're investing your money, which makes it capital? Or is he literally just trying to hoard enough dollars? Oh my God. Bro, I can't the poverty LARPing is insane, bro.
You do have, like a 401k, for example, because I do, circumstance, even if you do have, like a 401k, for example, because I do, right?
How do you have a 401k? What is the structure of your 401k if you're self-employed? So you have your own company? What's your 401k max contribution limit and everything? This motherfucker is 1,000,000% invested. If you have a 401k, are you putting money into like a high yield savings account inside the 401k? The 401k is probably invested in stocks. That's capital. What do you mean? This is rage bait. I'm getting one guide. I am getting one guide. This is rage bait.
Right? Because I want to be able to retire one day. That was still, I think,
I want to be able to retire.
Put you firmly in the pro side of the argument.
Oh my God.
You are a capital owner, yes. You're not engaged in significant capital accumulation unless your asset, real estate, investment, or business entities with employees produce income without your ongoing work.
You're a capital owner, yes. You're not engaged in significant capital accumulation unless your assets, real estate, investments, or business with employees produce income. Oh wait, what is he saying? Twitch channel, YouTube channel, merchandise lines, and intellectual property all constitute capital that generates ongoing income. This is true. Your YouTube videos and Twitch VODs would keep earning ad revenue for a while. Your merchandise brand and IP could continue to sell. Oh, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. Oh, I wasn't even reading what this guy was saying. Keeps earning ad revenue for a while. Your merchandise brand and IP could continue to sell if demand persisted. Any real estate or investments would likely appreciate or yield. This is true. Hasan, accidentally, I guess, or maybe he's retarded, I don't know, gave that away early when he's like, it would only count as capital, blah, 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 is if I hired somebody else to do my job. Hired somebody else to do what? To assume the Hasan Piker business. This is capital, right? Your job is building your business. It technically does count as capital, and that's weird because it's probably a single owner LLC or single owner business or whatever, and it kind of needs him to make it, but it does count as capital. Also, the money that he's sitting in his investment accounts, everything as well, of course, is.
Okay, so you do understand. You're just a fucking moron. Never mind.
Good.
I love when guys come in here and they're like, no, actually, I do understand where you're coming from. I just wanted to be fucking annoying. So why did we do this back and forth then? You just wanted to like autistically argue on the semantics? Because that's an entirely separate thing that you're describing.
That chatter cooked the fuck out of this guy.
It's so dumb. I don't know why people do this. I genuinely don't understand it. Maybe you felt like lonely in your home and you wanted to be heard or something. But thank you. Chatter thinks owning anything is capital. Yeah, no, you have a car, dude.
A car is the same as your investment accounts?
Yeah.
In New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill is going to win.
Why am I watching this? You guys are rage baiting me. Wow, MD Charge. Thanks for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. And the 5 more gifted tier 1 subs. My capital is accruing, accumulating. Well, it depends on the car. Technically, unless you're using the car as like a taxi or to drive other people around, I don't think it counts as capital. Okay. I love you guys. I'm playing Final Fantasy Tactics. Okay. After I do my connections. He said he doesn't invest in real estate or stocks. He's lying. Hasan Piker does not have $10 million sitting in a U.S. Bank of America checking account. It's obvious. His money's obviously invested.